three cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman. From the foreign land of Canada, our host, Moodz 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Sean S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of Moodz and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right here. Episode 35 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horrors coming at you live. I am your host, Moodz 616, and of course, I've always got my two gangsters with me, NES Ruler 22, also known as Jeremy, and we've got the Mexican gangster, Double Shot J, also known as JP. What's up?
I'm not your life mate. I'm not your life mate anymore. Oh,
man.
Gotta change it up a little bit, man.
My life.
Yeah, I always wonder what you're gonna come with. Like, yeah, I have a feeling you just randomly pick shit.
I totally do.
Like
I
off
don't
the
even
top.
think about it. I don't even
off
think
the
about
top of
it.
the dome. Yeah, a little positive thing is that I'm pretty much unsick. I still got a little bit of a cough, but oh man, that was a rough week. I haven't really watched much this week because I couldn't pay attention. I just wanted to play.
I'm awake. I'm used to being tired when we're doing these, but I'm actually awake.
Yeah. In case you guys don't know, we're actually recording in different schedules now, and this was a short week. This is a 5-day turnaround for the next show because we're going to a new schedule change, and it's actually, way earlier than we normally record.
12 hours earlier.
Yeah, this is crazy. I've been up for, pushing a whole day, 24 hours. Mm-hmm. I got off work 3 hours ago at 5 in the morning. It's almost 8:30 in the morning now, and we're still going, or I'm going. Yeah. So I just want to warn people, if I do sound like a bag of beaten assholes at points in this podcast, it's probably because I'm starting to fade a little bit, and I'm trying to keep myself steady going with, the 3,000 cups of coffee I've had today. But I don't know, man. I just, sometimes when you have too much, you hit that point where you just fucking crash hardcore. So
you haven't hit the second wave yet?
Honestly, I'm not even really tired. I'm just afraid that I might just halfway through just fucking
be like, Moodz, are you there?
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard it happen, man. I've listened to podcasts where co-hosts have fallen asleep.
That's so classy, man. That's
I know.
So awesome.
Well, when you hear Texas Chainsaw Massacre in your earphones, you'll wake up because you think you'll be having a nightmare.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to say something real quick. About the voicemail. I almost made a mistake the other day. I don't know if I explained this on the podcast before, but whenever you guys call the voicemail, it actually rings my actual cell phone, and then it's redirected to a voicemail online, but it has to ring a real life phone, so it rings my phone. So I just have been not answering it if it's from a number that I'm not familiar with, which, if I accidentally ever answer it, you're going to be probably surprised, but I'll just say that, you're calling for the voicemail. I'll be like, oh, all right. And then I'll hang up, and then you can just call it again and leave the voicemail. Just as a little, in case anybody's really surprised when I eventually accidentally answer this, because it came close the other day. And, yeah, it's going to be awkward, but,
This is JP the Mexican. May I help you? I'm here for the voicemail. Click.
Also, that, like we said last week, you have to leave your message in 3 minutes. But if you want to leave a longer one, just call back and, leave a second message. I'll edit together. And also, one last thing. If you call and, F up your message, don't panic. You can just call me again on a voicemail and just be like, hey, disregard that first message. And if you even want me to, I'll edit that part out where you say it. I'll help you out.
And I think it would be important to note now that if you guys want to leave us any questions or messages, it has to be in before Thursday morning, since we're doing the show on Thursday mornings now.
Yeah,
so if you have anything, just if you want your question answered on the week's show, make sure you send it in by Thursday. But if you send it in after Thursday, we'll just answer it on the next week's show.
Yeah. We'll just roll it over.
Q. Yeah, so this has been an interesting week. Like JP said, it's been like a 5-day turnaround.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a whole lot of time to watch a lot of films, but
I've still watched 52.
Well, I still end up watching a lot of films because my schedule changed. I went to night shift, and basically all I do is like sit in my office now. It's kind of awesome. Check on the aircraft every couple hours, but yeah, I got so much time now to just sit there and watch films. So I've been watching a lot of shit all week. So, but I guess it didn't work out too well for you, JP.
I mean, no, not really. Like, one, there wasn't much news in 5 days, and two, I didn't really watch anything. I wish I could watch. I wish I had like a laptop in my office, because then maybe I could like
get a tablet, man.
Watch some shit. Yeah, I should actually get a tablet or something. I could at least rent movies on whatever.
I purposely bought a fucking tablet for when I sit on the train every day, because I commute to school. It's like an hour and a half every day each way. So I bought a fucking tablet thinking, yeah, I'm gonna watch so many movies every week, and then I fucking haven't used it as much as I thought I would. That's
how it usually goes.
I just rip my movies and then just drop them. So you don't have to rent movies, JP. All you gotta do is just
but if I'm gonna watch, films.
But first, he's gonna have to unbox his whole collection, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
If I'm gonna watch films like outside of the home where I don't use them on DVD or whatever, then I'm just gonna rent new shit that came out. Because whatever. Like there's a lot of films that aren't even gonna be out before the end of our year show. A lot of films that are on VOD right now that would qualify for this year because it's widely released.
Are we doing that for okay?
Anything that's widely available, and if it's on Amazon Instant or whatever, you can rent it on Amazon, then it's considered widely available.
I'm gonna have to check out VOD here because I know there's a couple films that
you gotta watch Babadook, Moodz.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple films
that's
I
the
really
one
need
I was
to check out before.
about.
There's that one, and there's
that's high on my list.
That one right there, and then there was like Starry Eyes and like
Starry Eyes. I watched that last week.
Starry. Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna blame everything on being up for 24 hours.
It's okay.
So just get used to it.
If you guys remember some of those shows last season, like we would be up until like 3 a.m, and it would be the day after, I just got off of work that day, so I had woke up 5 a.m, so I was almost pulling those things. So by the end of the shows, you remember how dead I was, so I know what you're feeling like.
I have a feeling next week's show is going to be like that.
Yeah.
6 hours long.
Oh, man.
It's going to be fun, though. I actually have time to watch films now. Today is my last day of school. Holly fucking Luya.
Nice.
I fucking wrote... Let's see. I've said it before. I wrote 30 3-page reading responses and 2 6 to 7 page papers and 3 10-page papers. And I made a narrative film and a documentary. This semester literally kicked my asshole. That's when, like, Moodz, when you said you used to write, like, long papers every week, I thought you were fucking insane, because I don't know how you wrote that many long papers.
Even thinking back on it, I don't know how the fuck I did it either. It's crazy.
Like, I'm sitting here writing these 3 10-page papers. I'm going, this is fucking rough. I mean,
but
I know 10 pages really isn't that much 10 pages isn't really that much when you're writing, like, a review or something like that, when you're doing it for fun. But when you have to write analytically and things like that, it gets fucking hard.
Yeah, it is a lot different. But you know what I used to do is I wouldn't go home. Because if I went home, then I just had way too many distractions around me. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd want to, watch movies or listen to tunes or fucking jerk off. I don't know. Whatever I do in my time. Eat hot dogs, But I would literally go to class and then just go to the library and then just write. I'd be at school for 15 hours kind of thing. I wouldn't fucking leave because I knew if I went home, there was no writing going to be done.
Yeah, that's like everybody, tells me, oh, why didn't you do your work on the train? Because I can't fucking work on the train, man. For one thing, it's too loud, and for two thing, I see so many fucking weird people that I cannot just watch them.
You can't concentrate on.
Is there a glare?
For me, what?
Like if you're trying to watch a movie on the train, is there a glare?
if like the sun's shooting through the window, yeah.
That has to be the most annoying thing in the world.
It's not too bad if you just adjust it so you're not like. Yeah. But on my computer, it's not bad. But on my tablet, it's pretty shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm happy I don't have to fucking take the train for 6 weeks.
Oh, I remember the other film that I really wanted to check out before the year was done was the remake or the whatever of The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Yeah, that's another one that I want to see.
Yeah.
That's not released on disc till after, or what? Do you know?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, there's still a couple films that I really do need to check out that are released, and that is The Dead 2, Dead Snow, The Purge 2. Mm-hmm. Fuck all these sequels. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I doubt I'll get a chance to see like the ABCs of Death 2. And
that's a good thing.
I think that's another one that doesn't come out till the end of the year, or
February.
Till the new year. Yeah.
Comes out in February. Yeah, today, my last day in my horror class, which I'm sad, but for the final project, you could either write a paper, which I did, or you can make a film. So 9 people made a film, so I'm curious to see people's horror movies and see how shitty they are. Hopefully there's at least one good one. I'm hoping. I'm hoping there's potential to have at least one semi-decent one. I'm going to be sitting there fucking judging them like a freaking... I hate being in that class because I think I know so much more. I'm not being a show-off, but I know so much more than everyone else, so it's like, it's hard not to fucking open my mouth all the time and say stupid shit.
Open your mouth, dude.
I can guarantee that, out of those 9 films that are going to be made, none of them are going to be like, I Spit on Your Grave. Considering fucking half those people fucking walked out. Oh
hopefully people don't walk out because they're so shitty.
Or it won't be like a cool vampire flick like Near Dark.
Yeah, I can't believe they hate
that shit. I understand that I Spit on Your Grave thing a little bit, but like Near Dark, like that's a solid film, man. I don't know why it would come off like cheesy or whatever.
And I really think the favorite film of the year, the favorite film of the semester that was shown was actually Excision, which I found extremely interesting. I don't know why people guided towards that film for some reason, but I think that one and Eyes Without a Face was like the 2 like favorite films of the semester.
Maybe Excision was popular amongst the crowd because everyone was like a big 90210 remake fan.
I know people hated Near Dark and American Mary.
They hated American Mary?
They didn't like it. It didn't go over too well.
And what was the other one?
Near Dark and...
Man.
Let me see.
Wait, this is the women in horror class or whatever?
Yeah, I'm thinking what films...
How did Slumber Party?
Yeah. Slumber Party Massacre, I think, was people liked it so. And then... Carrie. And then...
What did they like? Did they like Carrie?
Yeah, Carrie's good. Carrie is always, I think, a popular choice.
Yeah, Carrie's solid.
Yeah, let me pull up.
I mean, fucking American Mary was kind of mixed among, real hardcore fans.
Slumber Party Massacre, Psycho. Psycho always goes over well. Which kind of pissed me off that you show that movie.
That surprises me that so many people like these are kids, right? I mean, these are young people. Like it always surprises me that people can still like actually be aware that film is amazing.
Like Psycho, though, it's like that we watched that during the gays and the voyeuristic week, so it's like, why the hell didn't you pick Peeping Tom? That's such a better voyeuristic gazing film than Psycho. But Sisters went over really well. Excision, that went over really well. Carrie went over well. Exorcist, it was a fun discussion.
Did it go over good? Like
I don't know. Some people like a movie and some people don't like the movie, like myself. So
that's weird.
Yeah. Rosemary's Baby.
That went over
really well.
Yeah, that's an amazing film. That might be one of the best on the list.
Yeah.
Like in terms
Man, I still can't get over that you're not a fan of The Exorcist.
That is a weird one. We're gonna have to discuss that one day. Like why?
It's
really.
You have to
give me time to.
It's interesting.
Give me my argument.
Yeah,
mainly the beginning. The beginning really bothers me.
The slow pace.
No, the beginning in Iraq. It just really, really bothers me. Or Iran, wherever the fuck they are. It just bothers me. I don't know. I Spit on Your Grave, of course. We all know that. 4 people walked out.
I believe they showed that in there, though.
Well, if it's a woman in horror class, you have to show that movie. You have to.
Out, though. man.
You
Jesus.
have to, because that's like the main, like, that's a
What
huge...
is this, fucking Cannibal Holocaust?
That's
Holy
a
shit.
pretty big women horror film. I mean, that kind of, besides
AKA
Last House
Day of
on...
the Woman.
Yeah, besides Last House on the Left, that was like a really big rape film, so it's like, it's either that or Miss 45. Miss 45 doesn't do it justice. I mean, it's an awesome rape revenge film, but it doesn't do it as much justice as I Spit on Your Grave.
Well,
like, you have to show that.
I Spit on Your Grave is like the first of its kind in terms of just the scale.
Mm-hmm. And
So
it's not an
it's kind of like
aesthetically...
Yeah,
if you remember
I mean,
it as an aesthetically beautiful film, because it's definitely really, really shitty in that aspect, but there's some really interesting things in that film that people don't really notice.
huh. Interesting.
It's a pro-feminist film, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a debate that will go on for the rest of history.
Let's see, American Mary didn't go over too well. We watched The Mirror. I think that went over pretty well.
That's actually doesn't really surprise me, because you can see where the taste is right there.
Yeah.
You know, that's really artsy, and I Spit on Your Grave is just grimy and gritty, and
Eyes Without a Face went over really, really well. Suspiria, I think it went over pretty well. Near Dark went over really shitty.
That's...
And Tonight is The Curse of the Cat People. Oh, yeah.
Why don't you, when after these classes, why do you not like take a recorder in there and like interview these people after class?
You're like, why do you hate this movie?
Yeah, I would be very curious to hear that, and then you can put it on a show.
My question would be, where did you go when you walked out of I Spit on Your Grave?
Yeah.
Did you go straight to the shower and try to cleanse yourself? Did you feel dirty?
Like, my professor's really, really chill. She's really into horror films. Like I said, she worked on the crew of Blood Junkie and things like that. So she's a pretty interesting person when it comes to the horror genre, and she's always willing to push the boundaries of what film she shows. Like, she's very particular. That's why I thought it was awesome that she showed American Mary, even though people didn't like it. It was a very interesting choice to pick. Mm-hmm. So when she said last week that she's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get Italian abroad trip planned so we could go study Italian horror in Italy, I was like, fuck yeah, that's amazing.
See,
like,
I think American Mary is actually like a pretty smart choice, because you kind of want something newer that represents women in horror as well. So that's probably about the newest big.
And her she was trying to teach it as a modern rape revenge film, and I had a problem with that because it's not really. I mean, there is a little bit.
American Mary?
Yeah,
it's pretty much all rape revenge.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that too. I mean, that's kind of why she does what she does.
Yeah.
I think she does it for money first, and then rape revenge.
Well, she's doing something different for money though. When it becomes after the rape, it's like a next level of self. She's enjoying it. She's enthralled in the revenge after that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, enjoying it. Yeah. Sorry. Wow. I don't know what's going on with my voice right now. Do we got lots of news this week?
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
Death in Portland, America. A tragedy of macabre proportions. I can honestly tell you that I have never seen anything as shocking as what was
just
discovered
hours ago,
earlier today.
police arrested 3 obsessed movie fans who allegedly committed a series of ritualistic murders after watching last summer's blockbuster movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Murders in the history of the
No.
Oh, so it's good that we're rambling about my women in horror class.
Yeah, because honestly, it seemed like it was really slow. Man, it's been a really kind of slow end to the year.
Yeah.
Really with big news and stuff, so.
But first up, we have Roadside. Now, this is an Image Entertainment acquired film. It's called Roadside. It follows Dan and Mindy Summers, who are on a road trip along a desolate mountain highway when Dan is forced to exit the SUV to remove a dead tree blocking their path.
Oh, this sounds shitty already.
Their journey takes a turn. They suddenly find themselves held hostage on the side of the road and trapped in their car by a mysterious gunman. They must fight for their lives, a sadistic game of cat and mouse set up against a backdrop of numbing cold pitch darkness and raw terror.
Oh, that
Dude.
sounds pretty shitty.
Really?
Yeah, but JP
How many
missed,
times have that been done, JP?
But JP missed
I don't
the
know.
one crucial, the one crucial thing there. The gunman was actually a werewolf.
Yeah, right. Dude, listen, guys. How does that sound bad? It sounds like a isolated,
been done so many
contained horror
times.
film. Where? Name one.
Where? How many times have you seen people's car break down at the side of the road and they have to survive against a backwoods killer?
We don't know that he's a backwoods killer.
Well, what else is he? Does he just
Well, we
fucking...
also don't know.
He's a
that
mysterious
not a werewolf.
gunman.
He's mysterious, exactly. He's a werewolf. I'm telling you.
It's possible.
Or,
But
or he's Bigfoot.
That's
This
a
is the
pretty
next
damn
new
good
Bigfoot.
premise, though.
listen, I like road horror, man. What you talking about? Road horror is the shit.
I love
Okay.
road horror too, man. I wish they'd make more.
I know. Yeah, Jeremy. They make
Oh,
too
here
many
we go,
Moods.
ganging up
They
on
should
the
make
Jew.
more.
Ganging up on the Jew again.
No, like, you know me, man. I love these simple premise films. I'm cool with breaking down and shit. Listen. The reason that breaking down happens so much in horror is because people
They're
break
always
down
driving
in
Fords?
the real world. Okay?
In the middle of the woods?
I just broke down the other day.
In the middle of the woods?
It's all woods, bro. I live in the woods.
Well, most normal people don't live in the woods, so...
Is that a fact? I'm not sure that's a fact.
That's definitely not a fact. But, I mean, there's a lot of woods and shit around here.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
there's some
live.
pretty
You're a
normal-
city boy, dude. The woods are foreign to you, so it feels like bullshit. But this is all.
I'm a
woods
city
around here.
boy.
Everywhere I go, I don't know. That's what you sound like when you say it was like normal people don't live in the
Well,
woods.
that is a kind of true statement. I am pretty much a city boy.
Yeah, but no, I mean,
Fucking
like,
live in the third biggest city in the fucking country. What do you expect?
listen, if you're gonna set your horror film in the woods, I'm fine with that. If you want to set it on the grimy streets of 80s New York, I'm definitely fine with that. But, you know, there's room for everything here. And, you know, we don't know much about this just from the premise, but it doesn't sound like shit to me. I think it sounds interesting. I'm not going to run and make sure I see this film
Who's
first.
releasing this?
Image.
Image has not been very good lately, I have to say.
Well, Image released Day of the Mummy that I talked about last week, and yeah, that was about as average as they come.
Yeah, and they released...
But
what,
Image
All
also
Cheerleaders
releases
Must
like
Die and Bloody Homecoming and what else?
Yeah,
are there?
Moodz liked All Cheerleaders Die. I thought it was also average as hell. I gave it a 5 out of 10, so...
yeah, I actually really dug that movie.
I just
but yeah, I don't know. Image seems they release like 4,000 flicks every week. It seems like so. Who knows? I mean, it is very hit and miss.
I mean,
obviously.
these are
They
the
do
films
release a
you
lot.
see in Walmart, right?
Yeah.
These are the ones that are always at Walmart, and it'll be $10 when it comes out on DVD. It probably won't even have a Blu-ray, but it's probably one that I would pick up over other films
I'll
released.
pick up for $1.50.
What was the name of it again?
Roadside.
Oh, it was actually called Roadside.
Because I pick everything up
Yeah.
for $1.50, so I'll buy it sooner or later.
Mm-hmm. After that, we have Wayward Pines. This was M. Night Shyamalan's... Am I saying that right?
You're fine.
Because everybody always has trouble with that, but I feel like I'm nailing it lately.
I just call him the shitty horror director who directed Signs.
Is that really what you call him? Like every time someone brings up his name, you're like, "Oh, you mean the shitty horror director that directed Signs?"
And directed
You haven't just
Avatar
like
The Last
like that?
Airbender. Like, when's the last time M. Night Shyamalan made a semi-decent movie?
Devil.
2003 with Signs.
Devil. He wrote that one. That one was pretty good. Or he directed it and somebody else wrote it.
It's average. It's not like Signs
Devil was
level.
good, man.
Nah, I didn't see it.
You didn't see Devil?
No,
It's
I've actually.
in an elevator with the devil.
No, I know. I know what movie it is. I just never seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
but
M. Night Shyamalan's pretty shitty, JP.
I'm not saying he's not, but you asked when was the last good movie he made. and I
Look
told
at
you.
his track record. After Earth, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Lady in the Water. What else has he made?
Sixth Sense.
Well, Sixth Sense is good. Like, everything up to Signs is really good.
I actually don't like that movie.
Yeah?
But yeah,
it's
so
like-
I can pretty much say that I haven't liked one film that he's done.
What was the other one? The Village.
The
No,
Village.
listen, I am not an M. Night Shyamalan fan. I actually don't like any of his films besides Devil. I never even seen Signs, so I can't say I don't like it. The Village I thought was...
I like The Village. It's not my favorite
It
film.
was
It's
average.
Not bad. It's average. Oh, and he made The Happening. That's pretty shitty.
The Happening I enjoyed in a weird way. Like, it's definitely a bad movie, but it's almost like it's a big budget B movie, which is, it's like weird.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah, so I'm with you. Like, yeah, he doesn't make... I think even, how everybody was like, M. Night Shyamalan is amazing, like, and now I think even everybody is in agreement that, like, no, he's not.
No.
I'm telling you, even the people that were, like, saying that he was amazing now have even reversed their statements.
He hasn't been good since 2003. That's a pretty shitty track record.
Yeah.
To not make one good film or, like, really, really solid film in 11 years, it's pretty shitty.
Devil.
Yeah, but that didn't get over good. Just because you like it doesn't mean that it got over.
Good.
Like, Sixth Sense was like one of the hottest movies when it came out.
Yeah, but that's like, you're looking on a different scale, man. That Sixth Sense was like a movie that shook the world. Like, you're not going to get another one of those. So I'm just talking about, like, generally, like to, like, just an average group of people. I think they would say that Devil was pretty solid. Maybe not critically. But
did you direct that one?
Critics are stupid anyway.
I haven't. Did he direct it?
He either directed it or wrote it.
He wrote it. He didn't direct it.
Okay. See, that might be why it's good. Maybe Shyamalan can't direct at all. Maybe he can write a little bit.
We'll see. I don't know if he's done anything else. Like, he's written anything else. And I directed it.
Well, I don't know if he has either, but I know that he pretty much writes and directs all of his shit, so that's
fucking
weird.
Universal, man.
But so he is the psychological thriller Wayward Pines is going to be
oh yeah,
debuting
back
on
to this
Fox.
movie you were talking about.
It's a TV series. It's a 10-episode psychological thriller. It debuts May 14th, 2015 on Fox.
Fox.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much that I have yet to see that's, like, nowhere near on, like, in my queue. J.J. Abrams is in the closing stages with Sony on a deal involving what's being described as a Cloverfield-esque type film with a contained budget, and it involves aliens. Thoughts? No thoughts?
I haven't seen it. I talked about that last week.
You haven't seen? Oh, Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Cloverfield's actually pretty solid for a found footage big monster movie. I think it's pretty good, but I don't know how much rewatch it has. I don't think it has any, really. Because just coming off of the first time I seen it where I loved it to, years later, like this year, it was definitely not as exciting. But I remember the trailers, it being a big thing, like, what's the monster? Because they didn't show the monster in the trailers. The same thing happened with Super 8, remember that?
Oh, I love Super 8, man.
I had never seen it, but, like...
I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, I want to check that. I own it. I need to check it out, actually.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
I'm fine with this. I've
never seen that one either.
I like these type of projects where it's like super secret. Like,
yeah, it's a good.
You don't know what the monster is.
Yeah, that's a good monster movie, and you really don't even see the monster that much in Super 8, but it's a really solid film. I recommend it.
That's how Cloverfield is. You don't really see the monster too much.
Yeah, well, Crawler dies like that too, but we'll get onto that in a little bit.
Next up, Scream. Scream, the TV series. Well, just to clear some stuff up, Wes Craven tweeted out a mask last week. Of like, it's like green.
Oh, it looks like shit.
Mask. Yeah, but it has nothing to do with the show. He was just like,
yeah,
look at this mask. But some sites were reporting that it's like, it's actual news for the show. Like, that's the mask they're going with. Apparently it's not true. But there was some actual Scream news. And one of the actresses in Scream apparently is going to be reenacting the Drew Barrymore scene from the original Scream in the opening of the new TV show. So now, at face value, you take that and it just sounds like they're remaking it. But I have a feeling it's going to be some like meta thing where it's like they're not remaking it, but something like, you know what I mean? It's going to be something that's going to like be like what Scream kind of is with that meta stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, if they're just going to remake it, I mean, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, let's not go that far.
I honestly don't think it would be very successful. I mean, do you think it would be if you just fucking
you know
straight
what,
up...
man? I think whatever they do with this, it's going to be successful because you got to look at the network that it's playing on, man. Most of the people that are watching that network weren't even around for the original Scream, and they're not familiar with it. But if you take the model of Scream and you rip it off, you're still gonna have some because Scream's so good, so you're still gonna carry over some of that good quality to it. So I have a feeling that it'll be successful on MTV no matter what it does. But successful with us, the horror fans, that's a different story.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously your target demographic is like fucking 12-year-olds.
I don't know. The actual target demographic is probably like 18 to 24 or something, but I know that kids, like teenage girls, and that sounded weird. But they watch
lots
MTV
of them.
a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's a bit of weird news. After that, we have some Scream Queen news. Now, you guys remember a couple weeks back we talked about that new anthology show, Scream Queen. It's supposed to be a horror comedy. And wasn't it on like Fox or something? It was on some network where we was like, whoa, that's weird. But anyway, apparently Emma Roberts, who was in Scream 4, is going to be in it. And they actually have one of her co-star on at least one episode, I guess, is going to be Jamie Lee Curtis, and she'll be starring in Scream Queens as well. I mean, that's pretty cool, right?
That is pretty cool.
So it's like legitimized, I guess. Like, you're going to call a show Scream Queens, I guess you got to put like the number one voted by the fans Scream Queen of all time. I did not take part in that vote.
I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? Good for ratings.
Yeah, but you know what's even weirder is like Jamie Lee always bugs me because like she'll be involved in horror and then she'll like talk shit on horror. She'll be involved and then she'll talk shit on horror. But the last time I seen her in that Halloween bonus disc on the 35 years of release or whatever, I actually really respected like her whole like vibe in that, so that was cool. And this will be a 15-episode, hour-long comedy, which will premiere in fall 2015. So, yeah. After that, we have some more Friday the 13th news. This was actually part of the original interview that we talked about last week, where they said that it might be taking place in the 80s. They said, sex, drugs, always beautiful people dying. These things do not change, and we can develop more problematic relationship with Jason and his mother. So that kind of implies that there will be some part of the show or the film that involves Jason and his mother. So that's pretty cool. You know, I don't know if that means... That can go a lot of different ways. Like, is Jason plagued by visions of his mother, or is there actual back and forth relationship between Jason and his mother? We don't really know. Thoughts?
Who's going to be as good as Mrs. Voorhees is?
You mean like...
Who's going to play as good as Mrs. Voorhees, man?
Do you know her name?
No, I'm saying who's going to play as good as Mrs. Voorhees as Betty Palmer.
Betsy.
Betsy. I was close.
Yeah.
Betsy.
Yeah, but no,
it's fucking close.
Like, I'm wondering if this is gonna have like some prequel type shit to it though, because if they're saying
you were fucking testing me, JP. Screw you.
I know. If they're saying they can develop a more problematic relationship between Jason and his mother, does that mean that they're gonna show some interactions with them when they were both alive? Who knows? But that's definitely interesting. They also went on to say there is no PG-13 version in the world of Jason Voorhees, which...
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's good, but it's almost like if you even have to say it, then...
Yeah.
That's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. PG-13 Jason? Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, and then after that we have IFC acquired another film. This is Dark Summer from Paul Sullett, who did Grace, and he's going to be in that upcoming Tales of Halloween anthology. This is kind of like, they're describing it as a suspense thriller to combine supernatural terror of classic horrors like The Shining and Poltergeist with the tension of modern and cool films like Disturbia. This is IFC Midnight. They're going to pick it up and limited theatrical VOD January 9th. And it sounds like some Disturbia type stuff, which I actually like that Rear Window Disturbia.
Yeah, Disturbia isn't too bad.
Fright Night type of film where it's like you're like that voyeur spying on the neighbors, the Burbs and shit. Like I like that whole style, and you know there's a few of them out there, but I wouldn't care to see another one.
Moodz, you don't look very good.
No, I was just thinking. I actually really enjoyed that film too, man. To be honest, it actually surprised me.
Yeah, I actually like Superbia. For a PG-13 horror film, that's probably on the top of my list. They're pretty close.
Yeah, and I'm actually a big fan of old Shia.
Mm-hmm. He's good in Nymphomaniac, so...
Yeah.
Even though he's gone fucking insane lately, but...
Yeah, he's crazy, but that's kind of why I like him as well.
His story on fucking Jimmy Kim was fucking insane.
Did you hear about him being raped?
Yeah.
Was that what it was? Was that what it was on?
No, he was about when he got arrested in New York at the Broadway show. And he was talking about how he like went to McDonald's and got Egg McMuffins and was like, "What the fuck are you saying?" Just listen to it; it's amusing as all hell.
Okay.
Yeah,
I definitely will. So yeah, that's it. Besides the Scream Factory has originally they was releasing Scarecrows with another film. Moodz, you know what film it was?
Destroyer.
Apparently Destroyer got pushed back, so they pulled the double release and made it a solo release for Scarecrows now with special features. And a lot of people were asking for Scarecrows to have a solo release anyway, but people are still kind of complaining now because they aren't getting it for cheaper.
I'm surprised they haven't picked up Creatures yet. That's an MGM film.
Does somebody else...
Right, Moodz?
Has somebody else released it recently?
No.
Creature? No, it's been out of print for fucking ever.
Who released it originally?
MGM.
Oh. Yeah.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because I was actually thinking that not too long ago.
Yeah, I was like, that's an MGM film. That
would be
print.
Oh, that would be such a great title to fucking release. Maybe they don't have the rights anymore. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I know
it's been out of print for so
long.
They
probably. I know that sometimes like these rights can go into limbo, so that's possible. Or you might have companies out there like Synapse or Anchor Bay or whoever that are in a bidding war for the rights, and it's like slows down the process. You know, with Scream Factory. Yeah, but Scarecrows, I don't know why they don't make it a collector's edition. I mean, you're pulling it from a solo release, just do a collector's edition. I want some cool artwork.
Yeah, I would buy that. I'm going to buy it anyway, because I actually really want to see that movie, so...
I just bought it, and I'm going to buy it anyway.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I love that movie, man.
Yeah, since Moodz talked about it like a long time ago, kind of want to see it.
Yeah, that was his pick of the week one time.
And what episode and what did he give it, JP?
I don't know.
You unprepared bastard.
I know.
I do know when I started my 88 series, that was the very first week was Scarecrows. Review number 1.
What's next year going to be, Moodz?
Are you doing it again?
I don't think so.
Oh,
it's been a 2-year run, man. I mean, it's been a lot of reviews, and I think I'm just going to concentrate on doing like more random shit.
Yeah.
Instead of having like just, you know, a fucking, I mean, it's been 2 years with this, you know, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty formulaic now. It's like
hip-hop collection videos have been going on for about that long.
Yeah, I know. Fuck. I know. Like, once all these series kind of come to an end, it's just I don't really. I mean, I've got other ones that I do, but I mean, no, it won't be like that next year.
It might be a good idea to like keep doing series, but make them not long term. Like your 7-day series, like those are cool.
The thing is, I actually have about 15 theme weeks planned, but I mean, I doubt I'll do them all next year, but I'm just saying I have them ready to go. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's a start. I mean, that's what I'll do. So I'm actually going to do one right away in January. So I already know which one I'm going to do. So it'd be pretty cool, but
yeah, you should get another one of those marathons going with Aaron.
Yeah, I like those videos. Should do like Puppet Master or something.
Oh my God. You really want to torture
We were
yourself.
actually talking about that one time, man. That would be fucking torture.
Or get Dylan to come. I know Dylan's not around, but you should, like, when he comes home, you should totally get him to, like, do a video with you.
Yeah. I don't even know which one. Like, we were planning on doing the Halloween franchise in October, but we never had the time.
Well, we ended up doing it as well, so.
Yeah, I meant, like, like as a video and stuff like that. But no, we just never got around to it. But I don't know what we're going to do next, actually, but Puppet Master, fuck, would that ever be hard?
Throw it on the Facebook. Have a vote.
Yeah.
What you guys want.
Yeah, you know another one? Actually, Dylan actually mentioned it because he's like, I've never seen like any of the sequels. And I think it was Dylan anyways, but he was talking, I think it was the Howling franchise.
I was just going to say that. Why didn't you do the Howling?
Because it seems like a lot of people have never seen a lot of the sequels.
I've only seen the first
about
Howling.
The sequels.
I've only seen the first Howling.
Yeah. Actually, some of the middle sequels aren't too bad. There's some bad ones though, man. There's some really bad ones.
That film is so bad. It's such a guilty pleasure.
Which one? Part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ending, man, makes that entire film. And the soundtrack's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is, man. Sybil Danning. Fucking great stuff.
Yeah, her titties, man.
Yeah.
I met her in person and her titties still look that good.
Nice. Nice.
So Scarecrows, it's going to be released solo now, and Moodz did give it a 9 out of 10 on episode 6.
There you go, JP.
Nice.
Yeah, so that actually wraps up the news for this week. At least I'm pretty sure it did. I hope I didn't miss anything significant.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't quite think right now. Brain's not working too well.
I could tell when you weren't talking on most of the news. I was like,
your eyes are so droopy. It is probably the funniest thing I've ever seen. You look so tired.
I've been up for a while. Alrighty, so yeah, I guess that does it for the news.
It's your turn.
New releases, Moodz Swingz, new releases for December 16th, 2014, man. I can't believe this year's already coming to an end. It's just so fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so nuts. First up here, we got a film called Bodies. That's a great title for a horror film, right?
Yeah, what an original title. Yeah. It's like, let's just go into the dictionary and open to a random page and bodies. Okay.
It's awesome stuff right there. Yeah, Bodies, I don't really know anything about it, but yeah, it's called Bodies.
Honestly, I actually like the cover, which is weird.
Does it say who's releasing it?
I actually can't even bring it up.
It's Xiaomi Media.
Who the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm.
All these companies, man. It's so weird.
Yeah, I never heard of that one.
All right, so next up for the releases here, we got a film called High 8. It's called High 8. Horror Independent 8 is what it stands for. This is being released by Wild Eye Releasings. I believe this is a kind of like a nod to like old shot on video and stuff like that. I believe that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure, actually. I think it's an anthology type deal, though. Maybe it's like Super 8 or something like that. Looks kind of cool, though, actually. Then we got another release called Coyote. Coyote. Pretty awesome. Look at this. JP, you looking at this cover right now? It looks so bad. Anyways, Coyote. And again, this one is being released by Wild Eye Releasing. It has a dude on the cover with a coyote head. I don't know. I just don't know what I'm doing.
Is it a CGI coyote?
No, it actually wasn't. It looked like he was like wearing a coyote head on top of his head.
Oh my god!
It's like an Indian. It's like Night Wolf from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, kind of. This one looks intriguing a little bit. It's called Wax. This one actually has Paul Naschy in it.
That one sounds pretty cool. Wax.
Yeah, but it's released by Full Moon, which is interesting.
Well, they haven't released anything in a while.
I know, that's exactly
Unlucky Charms, right?
Yeah.
No, they've released stuff since then.
Well, they have, but like not a whole lot. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's like Trauma. They haven't released much.
Yeah, they've been quiet lately. Yeah, this one's got Paul Naschy in it, which is quite interesting. But yeah, a new film called Wax from Full Moon. I'll definitely be checking that out. It looks kind of cool. Then we got another one here called The Device. It's being released by, I don't know, it doesn't even tell me. Image. Of course it is Image. Now this one looks...
Image.
Yeah, the
looks
Device.
Like Species type shit.
It does. It kind of looks like a little bit of sci-fi-ish. Ish, I don't know, Species type, I guess.
Splice, Species, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Splice yet.
It's alright.
Really?
I liked it. It's from Canada.
Then we got another film here called Dark Mountain. I don't really know what this one is supposed to be. Like, I cannot tell at all.
It's from the studio Dark Mountain.
From the studio Dark Mountain. I guess
the hell's Dark Mountain?
I'm assuming it's some type of like maybe creature features. I don't know. Who knows? But Dark Mountain, just not a whole lot of releases, man. Then we've got the Scream Factory release of Lord of Illusions. This is a collector's edition, of course, on Blu-ray.
Which I already have.
Yeah, Jeremy's actually got a copy already. Mine's on order, so I'm sure it won't ship right away. Like all my fucking Scream Factories.
You'll see it in 8 weeks.
I'm really looking forward to checking this out again. I haven't watched Lord of Illusions in such a long time. I believe this was the last film that Clive Barker directed, right?
Think so.
Yeah. So yeah, Lord of Illusions. Then we got a film called Stonehurst Asylum.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it does,
man.
Fucking awful.
Stonehurst Asylum. It's got Michael Caine in it. Ben Kingsley. What the fuck?
Really?
Kate Beckinsale.
That's actually like a good cast.
Yeah,
these are like pretty well-known actors.
To me, it doesn't even look like a horror film.
Oh, and it's released by Image. No, I'm just joking. It's released by Millennium.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Image would not be able to afford those actors.
Yeah, that's quite the cast, actually. I'm assuming Michael Caine is probably a. Is it really PG-13?
Mm-hmm.
Pass.
It looks like one of those stylized, like I don't know. It like to me it doesn't.
What the hell's Ben Kingsley doing in a film like that?
I know.
That's very random.
He must not. He can't be desperate.
No, that's odd. And then we got At the Devil's Door, released by IFC Midnight. This one is being released on Blu-ray and DVD. I should say DVD and Blu-ray. I should emphasize on the Blu-ray because IFC doesn't release. Yeah.
Oh man,
IFC doesn't release a lot of Blu-rays, but so when they do,
this cover is dope, man.
Yeah, this actually looks pretty interesting.
Look at the reflection on the ground, the shadow. I love that.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Yeah, this one does look pretty damn cool. So, I mean, IFC, you know, if you're a fan, definitely check it out.
No, more that I need to find now.
Yeah, they've been pretty busy.
Wow, the Blu-ray's $10 on Amazon, guys. I might order that right away.
I almost bought Beneath for $5 at Family Video the other day. I was close.
The DVD is $19.99 and the Blu-ray is $9.99. I'm sure that there's something wrong with that.
What's it called?
That's probably a fuck up.
At the Devil's Door. But Amazon honors that, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we got another film called Devil's Hand. The DVD cover of this movie looks like a fucking book cover. It's like so bad. Oh, and it's rated PG-13. So next, it does not look good.
Oh, this one does look pretty cool.
And finally, for the releases that I've got here, another IFC Midnight film called Cam to Cam. It's got a really sexy pic of a chick's ass on the cover. I really want to check this out now.
That one, I know, and I've heard good things about this one. And she has an axe, and there's a booty shot, and it's like I like the lights. Like I love these kind of looking covers.
It kind of reminds me of like the movie Plus One.
Yeah,
the way the cover is by.
Even the font kind of looks like that.
I have to watch that movie.
Plus One is a fucking weird movie.
Now this one is $22.48 on Amazon. So
Holy shit.
Man, I hate buying IFC Midnights on fucking Blu-ray.
This is only DVD.
I have so many on DVD that it looks so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I would have to, like, re-buy everything that I have on Blu-ray just so I have it on DVD.
They should have made their Blu-ray cases, like, white as well.
Yeah. It's really annoying. Good thing I don't have too many Blu-rays. I
only have a couple.
Yeah, me too.
And then finally, I have, because I'm releasing this. No, there is another release for Don't Look in the Basement. It is being released by, what company is this? Film Chest. It says digitally remastered. I don't know.
That's probably not true.
Don't Look in the Basement is a public domain film, so we'll see. I like to actually hear how that transfer looks. There is a couple pretty decent prints out there. I mean, we all probably have about 9 or 10 copies of Don't Look in the Basement in your fucking collection. Just the way it is. But yeah, I always find that pretty interesting when these films get like these digitally remastered fucking releases and stuff. It's kind of funny, but I don't know. That's all I got for the release this week. Such a slow end to the year.
Did you say Devil's Hand?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Also,
that's the one that has a cover that looks like a fucking book.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's like Children of the Corn or something looking. But
that always means it's going to be good.
No. But there's actually a bit of like breaking news-ish that's going on that involves releases, so I figured I'd share that real quick. VHS Viral has a release date of February 17th, and apparently there was originally a segment called The Gorgeous Vortex that sites were reporting was deleted or cut from the film, but for some reason it's going to be included in the Blu-ray release of the film.
It's only the Blu-ray?
I mean, if there's a DVD version, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if it's like a Blu-ray exclusive thing.
I don't know, actually. But they did say that this segment is really, really strong. That most people are saying that it's a real good segment, and it's people of the 90s are gonna like explode when they see it. Is what their quote was. Bloody disgusting.
Like, why would they cut out a good segment for?
My only theory is because it was made so fast, is it wasn't finished.
Oh man, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of Viral too much.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the thing. Maybe this one was so good that they had to cut it out because it made the rest of it just look really shitty.
Mm-hmm. I was already shitty already, so
I still have hope for it.
It's not terrible, but it's not very good. It's better than ABC's of Death 2, that's for sure.
Interesting.
Well, if it's better than ABC's The Death 1, I'd be happy.
Not a fan of the second one.
Yeah.
That's it for the releases, huh?
Yeah, there was like fuck all for releases this week, man.
Next week's even worse, bro.
I know, it's just fucking ugh. It's just not good, man. Not good. So yeah, let's get into the Q&A portion of the show here.
Yeah.
I know there's actually not that many questions this week, so this won't go too long. I'm not entirely sure, because I didn't write these down, who actually asked these. Does anybody know who asked the top 5 horror films directed by a woman?
No.
Is it Paul Henderson?
It might be.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who it was.
But I'm sorry if I'm getting the name wrong, but whoever did ask this question...
I'll look right now.
Fucking awesome question, man.
That was a good question.
Really, really good question. I've never even thought of this before. Fuck, it's such a good question. It just, when I read it, I was like, damn, that's a good one. I think that's what distracted me from reading who actually wrote it, because I was like, that's a really fucking good question.
I'll have it in a sec.
So I'm going to go with that. That's my excuse right there. But I'm pretty sure it's Paul Henderson, because he always has good questions. But I'm gonna go first here. Top 5 horror films directed by a female. I'll use the word female.
Yeah, it was Paul. Yep.
Was it Paul Henderson? Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Great question, buddy. I don't have these in any order, but this is the 5 that I have here. I'll just, whatever. Number 5, Slumber Party Massacre, directed by Amy Holden Jones.
Yeah.
I honestly love the cheese factor of this film. I think it's such a fun fucking movie to watch.
It's not really a good movie.
No.
It's not a great film.
It's actually a quite terrible film, but
yeah,
it's
pretty
to
bad.
watch.
Yeah, I absolutely fucking love Slumber Party Massacre. Every time I watch the movie, I always have so much fun with it. So you guys don't actually enjoy it, though?
Oh, I enjoy it. It's just a shitty movie.
You know what, man? I like it, but I definitely don't love it. I think it's along the lines of Prom Night in terms of slashers. Like, it's just one that I think's overrated. I do think it's better than Prom Night, but I don't know. I'll talk about it a little later, but I actually like the story of that film a lot, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've fucking always been... I've always had a thing for Slumber Party Massacre. Maybe it's because the fucking name is just so awesome.
Some of the massacre craze.
Slumber Party Massacre, man, just so awesome. Number 4, I have Near Dark, directed by Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah.
I mean, really, how could I leave this off the list? Fucking fantastic film. Was brought up. It seems like we've been bringing up Near Dark a lot lately. In my own videos and just in general talk and stuff, but brilliant film. Number 3, we got Ravenous, directed by Antonia Bird.
Yeah.
Ravenous is one of those films that
so good.
Is just, you know, I find it quite interesting when people say they don't care for the film.
Well, they're fucking idiots.
Because I'm like, what don't you like about the film? I think everything about the film is so well executed. And
Still haven't seen it.
Oh man,
I love the setting. The setting of it, just the characters. I don't know, man. There's something about that film that's fantastic. Number 2, Pet Sematary, directed by Mary Lambert.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Pet Sematary, man. It's a fucking classic film. Great. And of course, my number 1, JP did guess this right off the bat, and that's American Psycho, directed by Mary Harron, I think is how you pronounce her name. What can I say? I've watched American Psycho, like, I swear, 5,000 times. The movie just never gets old to me. It's fucking brilliant.
And by American Psycho, he means Freddy 6.
Yeah, totally. Ugh. God.
Oh,
don't even get me started on fucking Freddy's Nightmare, man. No, that's so bad. But yeah, you know, upon doing a little bit of research on, you know, women directing horror films, there's quite a few good ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a lot of films out there, and there was even some surprises that I didn't even realize, or just maybe forgot, that were directed by women. Blood Diner caught me off guard.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, wow, what the fuck? So, but yeah, very awesome question. I loved it. Jeremy?
Okay. Number 1, I have Near Dark, of course, directed by Catherine Bigelow. Number 4, I have Trouble Every Day, directed by Claire Denis. Awesome film. Awesome French extreme film. One of the early ones. Really solid. I talked about it a few weeks ago in my top 5 art house films. Number 3, I have A Mirror, which is half woman, but still pretty solid. Number 2, I have Slumber Party Massacre. And number 1, I have Ravenous.
Nice.
Hugh.
Alright, me, I have, I pretty much have all the ones y'all have. Pet Sematary, of course. I mean, that one still is interesting to me that a woman directed that. Especially, what's more interesting to me is that she also directed the second film, which has such a different tone.
And I haven't watched Pet Sematary 2 in a long time.
I like Pet Sematary 2, but it is just not. It's just not. It's not.
It's not what?
It's just not.
Okay.
Compared to the first one, it's just not.
I really like Pet Sematary 2.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's not. It's nowhere near like Pet Sematary 1. Like it's just completely different film.
That's an absolute fucking awesome thing that it isn't. It's good that it's a different film.
No, not when its sequel is a different film.
No,
than the first film.
What? You want the sequel to be the same as the first film?
No, but it has to be in the world of the first film.
No, it doesn't. It's a fucking sequel.
A sequel like this,
name
dude.
only.
No, it's not. It has continuity.
Well, I mean, I guess, but I mean, seriously.
I'm saying, like, when you have a dark, depressing, serious film, and then you make a sequel and it's not. It's a weird feeling. I like this. I like Pet Sematary too, but I like it.
But if you're making a film with the exact same tone and very similar to the first, what's the point of that?
Psycho 2 is the point of that. Friday the 13th 2 is the point of that.
I don't understand what you're saying.
This is your bad.
I'm saying when you do a follow up, if it doesn't follow you're following a story of the Pet Sematary, right?
Yeah.
It would be different if it was just like if it was like a different story altogether, but it's the same story. It's your burying loved ones, they're coming back, and the tone is completely different. When you make a follow up, it's
because
like
it's different characters and stuff.
Norman
it's different
Bates
characters
was cracking jokes and shit in Psycho 2. You know what I mean? It's like what if Psycho 2 was like not the tone that it is, like not the tone of the first film? That's what I'm getting at.
But I don't really think Psycho 2 is the same tone as the first one, though.
Really?
Same with Friday 2. I don't think Friday 2 it's different than the first one. I mean, for obvious reasons.
Like it's the same film almost.
But it's for obvious reasons. I mean, Jason is the killer in Part 2.
Yeah, but that's not tone. That's just details.
That is details, but it does add a different tone to it, though, too. In my opinion, because there's no mystery to it, so the tone's a little different.
There is a mystery. You know that it's Jason, but they don't show it until the end of the film. You know it is now, but when it came out, it wasn't known that it was Jason. It was still a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but still, you know what I mean, though, man. There's honestly, I mean, just having the exact same tone and the exact same feel of everything to a sequel is just like.
I expect that in a follow up, though.
To be
maybe
same.
Not in like a sequel to something that isn't. I don't know. Like it's case by case, obviously, but when you're doing a follow up.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Halloween. You look at the first Halloween film and in the sequel. It's of course it has to be the same tone because it's the fucking same night. That's the continuity to it. But like I'm just saying, like with these other ones, like with Pet Sematary, the first one and the second one, I mean, different characters, a little different scenario.
Yeah, but it's the same town. It follows the Creed murders. They tell the whole story of it. I'm just saying, like it's.
Different characters and different people, so you're going to get different tone. I think it's a good thing.
Different characters shouldn't mean different like tone. Like it's a comedic.
It would. Of course it would. They're not going to be the same people. The story's a little different.
Yeah,
I mean, they're coming from different. No, I think it needs to be just a tad bit different.
It's not a tad bit different though. It's night and day with the darkness of the original Pet Sematary and the like funness of Pet Sematary 2 is a complete shift.
That's what makes it so awesome.
I mean, I don't think that's what makes it awesome. I think it's awesome because
that's what it makes it awesome for me. That's what I'm saying. That's why I love Pet Sematary 2 because it is so opposite than the first one.
That's why you like it?
I fucking love it because of that.
All right, I just like it because I think it's a fun movie, and
that's why it's so fun. I think the first Pet Sematary film is an awesome film. I don't think it's overly fun. You think the first film
it's not fun at all.
Exactly my point. The second one is like a fun fucking movie.
Yeah, but we see like that's tone. It's the same scenario as like Freddy when they made Freddy fun, right? He was dark and serious, then they made him fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Of course, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's my favorite franchise.
Okay, but
I like that.
I'm not saying that it's like the biggest negative in the world. I'm just saying they're completely different films. I'm not even saying that it ruined the second film. Like I said, I like it, but the reason we got okay, the reason we got on this was it's just not the same type of film, and
all I'm saying is that's what works for me, totally. I just don't want to see another film as a sequel.
Yeah, I'm just saying also like that I don't like it because of that it's a different film that has nothing to do with why I like it. I think that I like it because... I think
that's what you think that I'm saying. That's not why I like it. I just like it.
I thought that's what you did say.
I like it because it's, it's a fucking totally different tone. It's just a fun film. That's why I like it.
It is fun.
and the fact that it wasn't the same as the first one.
Yeah, so. But I don't know. I'm just when I like my sequels, I usually like them to be set in the same world as the original film, not a different film, not a different world. If you're gonna do that, just call it something else. If it's not gonna be a sequel.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
What a battle.
Variety, man. Gotta have variety.
Yeah, but if you have variety, why don't you just call it something else? If it's a sequel, if you're calling it Pet Sematary 2, meaning it's a sequel to the original Pet Sematary, then why even call it that if it's not going to be a continuation of the story? It's not going to follow. It's pretty much just a remake at that point, and it's still, it's not. If the tone's different and the setting and characters are different, and it doesn't follow anything that it previously laid down, then it is pretty much just a remake at that point. It's not a sequel anymore. A sequel is a continuation.
Okay.
And then American Mary and Blood Diner.
Blood Diner? Wow.
Yeah, I love Blood Diner.
Interesting.
That's it.
All right. So who asked so somebody asked a question that was directed at all three of us, but we have different questions.
Yeah, we have top 5 badasses, and then top 5 badasses, and then the next question was, I think I had top 5 gothic films. I don't know what the hell you guys had.
Okay, so top 5 badass characters in film. I basically, for this question, just came up with, I just wrote down the first 5 that came to my mind.
Yeah.
I had Adam Chaplin. I had Ash in there, Freddy, Patrick Bateman, and Norman Bates.
Norman Bates is a badass, really?
Yeah, man.
I don't
Norman
really
Bates is a
Norman
badass.
Bates is a badass.
Yeah, me neither.
I see him as a soft, gentle soul that I feel bad for.
He's fucking badass. He's Norman Bates. He kills women in the shower, man.
Well,
that's badass.
I mean, most badass transvestite of all time, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, my top badasses are kind of, I don't really like badasses, to be honest. So this isn't like an easy question for me. Like
How do you not like badasses? What is the hate about badasses?
In the terms of, in order to be badass,
is it because they're too much fun?
No.
Yeah.
I like fun. What is this about Pet Sematary?
Goddamn fucking
I said that I
fun
like
over
Pet
here.
Sematary too. It's actually one of my favorite films set on Halloween. But I was just comparing it to the original. Anyway, I don't like badasses because I feel like it always comes off like an action movie. Like, in order to be badass, you have to be, just on top of your game, everything. And sometimes I feel like when characters don't have flaws, when they can't be taken advantage of by the killer or whatever, then they become almost too strong. And I like my lead characters and badass characters to still have that weakness. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for me in a weird way. I don't really know how to pick them. So I kind of just went with more of the Scream Queen type of badasses. And I went with Heather Langenkamp, of course. I think that she's really badass in the way that she defeats Freddy. Neve Campbell, who's probably the most badass of all of these.
I was just going to say Sidney Prescott's coming in this list, isn't she?
Yeah.
And you said Neve Campbell.
Awesome. Mary Beth from the Hatchet series. Kirsty from Hellraiser, and Ginny from Friday the 13th Part 2. Those are my badasses. Of course, there's like the Bruce Campbells of the world, but Bruce Campbell is a little klutzy, so he's a little less badass in the Evil Dead series,
Yeah, you can be a klutz and still be a badass.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun, though.
Yeah, he is probably the most badass out of all of them, though. I mean, Oh my god, what am I doing?
He's
what
probably
am I doing? I didn't even think of Reggie. What's going on here? Reggie's the most badass of all.
Yeah, Reggie is badass, man.
A quad barrel shotgun makes you badass.
Yeah.
Ash is probably one of the most entertaining badasses too.
Yeah.
You know, you can be like badass and hardcore. You're like, man, that guy's fucking cool. And then you look at Ash, you're like, man, he's the fucking best. You know,
I'm the best.
He's just the best. He's just the fucking best. You have a blast with him because he's fun.
It's my turn.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, number 5, I have Chrome Skull from Laid to Rest.
Oh, we're going. Killers would have been an interesting way to go too, because he is definitely badass.
He's badass with those fucking knives. He's awesome. Number 4, I have Captain Spaulding, another very badass.
Badass. The whole Firefly family should just went with.
Yeah,
that's a good choice.
Number 3, I have Annie from Misery. Awesome, badass.
Oh my god, crazy ass, more like it.
Yeah, she's badass. Fucking yeah, badass. Number 2, the hobo from Hobo with a Shotgun. He's fucking awesome. And I have Chucky as number 1, of course.
Chucky's not that badass. Just saying.
Fuck you, JP.
He's not. But listen, no, that was a good way to go. That's actually the way I should have went, because I actually always look at the killers as more of badasses than actually like the heroes of the film.
That's like all I had in my list. You fucking what the hell?
What?
That's why I had like all killers in my list, and you're like,
I didn't hear your list.
What?
Yeah, I
had fucking Norman Bates, Patrick Bateman, Freddie, Ash, and Adam Chaplin.
Yeah, well, your list
Adam Chaplin's
was better than
actually
mine too.
What's that?
Your list was better than mine too. I thought
Adam Chaplin's a little different though. He's like he's like kind of the anti-hero, I guess.
I was thinking that like when I initially read the question, I thought they meant like badass, like you know, like Kincaids and stuff, which would have also worked.
Well, yeah, I mean, your personal badasses. I mean, I guess we all have different meanings of badasses according to Jeremy.
Yeah,
like Kathy Bates is a badass.
Instantly, when I heard the question, I thought of like Ripley from Alien. Like I was like, oh, like I was thinking of characters like that, and I was like, well, that's too badass. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
She's badass, but she's too badass.
Yeah, like it's like. To me, because it's the ones you like, right? If it's just the most badass characters, she would qualify, but it's the ones your favorite badass characters. So it's like I can't have somebody too badass because I actually don't like that character when they're too badass. That's why I don't really like Alien too much. Is I don't know, like I don't really buy it. Like when she's in a like robot suit, like battling an alien, like it's just too much for me. It's not my style of movie. Mm-hmm. It becomes like a almost like a parody or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not a big fan of like action in horror.
Piper from They Live is fucking badass.
Yeah, no, he's badass. He's the shit.
Yeah.
So is Keith David.
Mm-hmm. Keith David's awesome.
Both of them are the shit. Keith David might even be more badass.
Nice. So next question here, I believe, is from Derek. And he asked each one of us a separate question. The question, actually, my question is in 2 questions. So I got 2 lists here to make. The first question was your top 5 Italian crime films. Of course, on the horror podcast, we got to talk about Italian crime films. I don't have a problem with that because I love Italian crime films.
This is actually a shit ton about yesterday.
This is actually a really fucking hard list to make, man. I was like kind of thinking about it and I was like, man, I don't even...
Not yesterday, last week.
I honestly don't know how to break it into like top 5, but basically I'll read off the ones that I wrote down first. Shoot First, Die Later by Fernando Di Leo. Just a fantastic, fucking amazing film. It's so awesome. La Scorta, also known as The Escort. This is a pretty interesting flick, and it's definitely the newest one on this list too. I think this movie came out in the early 90s, actually. Really, really fucking awesome story. Great flick, released by Blue Underground. Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Cop, directed by Ruggero Deodato. Fucking awesome. Ruggero Deodato's done quite a bit of different genres, but well, not quite a few, but this is a good film, man. Really awesome stuff. The Big Racket, directed by Enzo G. Cassarelli. Fucking awesome, starring Fabio Testi. Another Blue Underground release. An amazing flick, man. What is that for? And then I got Street Law, again directed by Enzo G. Cassarelli. I don't know why I keep saying Cassarelli. Starring Franco Nero. Fucking amazing. This movie is kind of more like a vigilante film. Basically, that's kind of what it is. He starts taking the fucking law into his own hands on the streets, hence the title Street Law. But it's technically still crime because he's taking out, these badass motherfuckers. Franco Nero is one of the most badass guys ever on screen.
So how is he not on your list?
Franco Nero?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? He's badass in everything, man. He's fucking awesome. I can pretty much name anything that Fernando Di Leo's done. Like, most of his films are really good, with the exception of like one or two. But yeah, I mean, there is one film that I left off by crime films that I'm going to name off of my next list, and I did that purposely. But the next question that he asked me, name my top Lucio Fulci non-horror films. Top 5 non-horror films. First one is Contraband. That one could have actually fit into my top crime films. Contraband is fucking amazing. Such a good flick, man. Ultra violent. Like, we're talking Fulci gore in an action film, like in a crime film. So crazy. Next up here is For the Apocalypse. Fantastic spaghetti western, obviously, by Fulci. Great story. Then we got Perversion Story. This is a pretty interesting flick. It's kind of like a sleaze comedy. It's really fucking bizarre. Like, Fulci doing comedy just seems so fucking weird to me, but it's not really a comedy. I guess kind of is, but interesting flick. Then we got like a sword and sorcery type film called Conquest, released by Blue Underground. This movie has the most amazing atmosphere. It actually feels like the whole film feels like it's in a dream state.
I've always wanted to check out like that genre of stuff because I feel like I would like it. The sword and sorcery stuff. I really haven't seen anything.
Yeah, after the show, I'll tell you some cool ones. I got a bunch of that stuff. This one right here, Conquest. Yeah, it's really interesting, man. Especially if you know Fulci's work, like he's known for his horror films, and you watch Conquest, and you're like, what the fuck? Because it's like Fulci, but like in sword and sorcery, it's like really gory and kind of sleazy, but it's like sword and sorcery. It's like so fucking bizarre to see. I don't know. And then we got what's that for? The New Gladiators, which is kind of on the same thing. It's kind of like sword and sorcery type, shit like that. It's man, Fulci kind of dabbled in a lot of things. He did a film called The Eroticist too, and it's like a straight up comedy film. Huh. Fucking bizarre. Like really, really bizarre. He like wrote the script and everything, and it's like once again, if you know Fulci from his famous films like Zombie and shit, and you watch The Eroticist, you're probably shit yourself. You're like, this can't be the same fucking guy. And then his spaghetti westerns and his, Italian crime. So Fulci's actually quite interesting. But yeah, definitely check out those. Massacre Time is another pretty cool western. It's actually an older flick, man. It's like from '66 or something. Probably the oldest Fulci film that I have, but give those ones a shot, man. Especially Contraband. If you like Italian crime, it's like I said, it's gory, real fucking gory. It's got some amazing kills in it, amazing. So, yeah, Jeremy.
All right, my question was top 5 gothic films, which is like, what falls under gothic? So I think I got 5 that would fall under the criteria. Number 5, I have Hour of the Wolf, Bergman, that I talked about a few weeks ago, again in my art house films. Really awesome. Bergman is the man. Number 4, 1931's Dracula. Awesome classic that JP for some reason has not seen. Number 3, Suspiria. I guess I would call this gothic a little bit.
Got a little bit of a gothic tone.
Would you agree with me, Moodz?
I don't know.
Yeah, that one was one of the weirdest ones that I have.
I think it's like the grand feel to it kind of almost mimics gothic.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting.
Number 3, Kinski. What the
oh my god!
Fuck was that?
Sorry, I just opened Facebook for a second because I had to recheck my question. I seen this stupid video.
What the fuck was
The
that?
stupid video that Moodz posted of this guy flying off his truck. It was so fucking funny.
Dude, I was bawling this morning. I was laughing. I watched it 30 fucking times. I kept laughing so fucking hard.
Because you know when you open Facebook, sometimes videos just start playing, and it's just like slow motion. This guy gets fucked up. It's so funny.
Dude, isn't it so funny how the guy actually holds
Oh
on?
my god.
Oh my god, I'm just thinking about him
could
crying.
not control that laugh. Like I tried so hard, and it just came through.
Oh my god.
But then he gets up and he like walks away, so like calmly, like nothing happened.
I know, it's probably one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. Oh, I've never laughed so hard.
I can't look at the screen right now because I just keep laughing.
Ah, shit, that's funny.
And they have it in slow mo, which is even
I
funnier.
know. Sorry.
He's like, I could hold this. Boom.
It's like I got it. I don't got it.
Even think about it. This is so fucking funny, man. I can't believe that he held on.
And then he just got up and he walked away.
And then I
Catapulted him like 30 feet.
what even made it more funny was I just pictured Moodz like super delirious last night, like trying to stay up, like finding all these weird shits. He was like, I was posting like a maniac this morning, and I was like, this is what he was doing.
Oh fuck, that's too good.
Oh, that's great.
Oh man.
Continue on, Jerry. Sorry.
Oh. Okay. Number 2. I have Kinski's Nosferatu, which I talked about again. Number 1, you have to have Cabinet of Dr. Caligari at the top of the list. It is a classic. Moodz, don't laugh.
Yeah, it's a great film, man.
I see you're trying to laugh.
Yes. Is that your full thing? All right.
Yeah.
Then he asked me, what are your favorite horror films that you consider straight face? This is like one of the hardest questions ever, probably. But I mean, you can go anything from like The Exorcist to Jaws to Halloween, like a million of the older ones. But I decided to kind of pick newer ones, since that's probably where the question stemmed from, where I said that it seems like there's less and less as time goes on. But I mean, there's some good ones over the past couple of years. Insidious, The Hills Have Eyes remake, Let the Right One In was one that was really serious. The Dead, which I picked because like that's a serious zombie film, which zombies seem to be like connected permanently with comedy right now, and I was really happy to see one that was just dead serious. And then of course you have like Eden Lake, and one that I like. We've had debates on this film before, but I kind of realized is like actually really serious, and that's probably why I liked it so much, was the Evil Dead remake. So yeah, I mean, those are Starry Eyes I just seen was really serious. The Babadook, serious. Those are some newer ones.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, yeah, and I think that is actually it for the questions this week.
Well, we have voicemails.
Oh, we have voicemails.
Yeah, you forgot
That's
about
right.
those, didn't you?
That I did forget about the voicemails because I actually didn't write it down. I'm a little delirious still.
Yeah, I can tell.
So, yeah, voicemails, JP.
All right, our first one comes from a psychopath.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh God, please no.
And then it continues on with silence for the next 2 minutes if you wanted me to explain it or not.
Oh God damn it! Can you wake up now?
Oh my god.
Oh man,
Oh.
that's funny as fuck.
Dude, play it again. Play it again.
Play it again? All right.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay, what exactly is this pertaining to?
The only thing that I can think that this means
He wants to be one of the new Chainsaw family members.
No, we currently have a Facebook post on our Facebook group page that asks for recommendations for our next viewer's choice. So I was thinking maybe that's what it was.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make the best sense if that's what it is, because otherwise I'm completely lost. So,
yeah. When you call for voicemails, guys, you might want to like at least say your name, maybe say what you're about to talk about, or at least explain what you're talking about. Don't just not just say
or you
like
could just
a random thing and end the call.
Or else you can just say 3 words like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and make us shit ourselves laughing.
Yep.
That's always amusing.
That was almost as funny as the palette.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, so...
Thank you, JP. That made my day.
Okay.
That's awesome.
We have one more voicemail. And this one is a little bit longer. Well, it's not longer because that last one was like 3 minutes, but it only said like 1 word. So, but this next one is actually a like coherent voicemail. So, here we go.
Boys, hey, it's Graham calling. Love the show. Hey, so I've been doing my homework and watched City of the Living Dead, and I would love it if you guys came up with an official term for what I can only describe as the brain grab, which I thought was absolutely one of the coolest parts of that whole movie. So there you go. Be creative. Need an official term. Take care. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. This one's out of my league. Moodz.
Yeah, mine too.
I have absolutely no idea. What did he call it? The brain grab?
Yeah, that's what he called it.
The brain grab. I know what he's referring to, but got to come up with an official title for that.
Well, actually, since you know what he's referencing, can you like explain what happens in the film?
Well, a brain gets torn. I'm so fucking delirious right now. I'm trying to think of something to... I don't really think that's going to do a whole lot.
Because I've seen City of the Living Dead, but it's been so long, and I can't... the scene I remember is like a lot of guts coming out of a mouth, which was like really nasty.
Oh, like literally like puking out the fucking...
yeah, like that scene actually, like I remember that scene really like making me sick, Phil, and that doesn't happen a lot. Like,
yeah, that's some fucking good gore, man.
It's more it's the idea too, like knowing obviously it's just a special effect and they're just pulling stuff out of the person's mouth. But like in my mind, I'm like thinking of like how this would work, and like realistically, it's just making me sick even thinking about it. So, yeah, it's something to do with like
you know that gore is effective when it's making you fucking sick to your stomach, man.
Especially when you're just thinking about it, right?
Pun intended. Yeah. The brain grabber. Oh man, I don't know. Do you guys have anything?
I can't remember the scene, so I'm like. It's hard for me to...
I can't double task right now.
Like, multitasking is way out of hand. He can't even double task.
Double task.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre blew his mind too much.
Yeah, I'm fucking delirious right now. I don't know, man. I honestly can't think. It's just put on the spot. So
the brain grab sounds fine to me.
The brain grab does sound pretty good. I don't know, man. The cranium cluster? I don't know.
Whoa.
Cranium cluster?
Dude, I'm fucking out. I'm out of it. I'm so out of it. My question is, though, does there need to be an official name for that part? Apparently.
I mean, what do you call the splinter eye scene? It's the splinter eye scene.
The splinter eye scene, yeah. I don't know, man.
I'm not good at stuff.
I'll try
like
to come up.
First of all, You might have to stew on that one for a little while.
Yeah, I might have to, contemplate that one a little bit. So, is that it for the voicemails?
That
JP?
is it for the voicemails.
Alrighty. So, yeah. Where was our buddy this week?
Well, I think
because it's a short week.
Yeah, the short week. Like I know normally he would send his in on like Saturdays or something. So, we might see one for next week or something.
I see. Alrighty. So I guess that is going to get to close to the end of Moodz Swingz, and that brings us to the Corners Report, courtesy of Rue Morgue, Weird Stats, and Morbid Facts. I like this one because this was actually kind of interesting. You just don't hear about this very often. A New Zealand man struggling with depression recently cut off his own finger, fried it up with some vegetables and ate it.
Nice.
This act of self-cannibalism is so rare that there's only 8 cases on record worldwide. That's probably why you never hear of it, because there's only 8 cases. Wow.
Yeah,
eat
and
a fucking body part of your own? That is some fucked up shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, it's such a rare thing to even be able to do, right? I mean, there obviously has to be something missing in your brain.
Thrills, man.
In your brain to let you do that to yourself.
I do have a couple questions here, though, because it said fried up with some vegetables. What kind of vegetables do you think he fried it up with? I mean, I'm thinking like zucchini and maybe like
sukiyaki with fingers.
Yeah, like
put some teriyaki sauce in there. And...
zucchini, mushrooms, teriyaki sauce. Maybe put on a bed of rice.
Finger licking good.
Finger licking good.
Now I want to ask you guys, like, how do you eat a finger? Like, is there enough to like? I feel like it's just like a frog leg or something.
That brings me to my second question. Do you debone the finger?
I think you leave the bone in, dude.
Man, I think that would be a little rough going down.
What are we, fucking chicken wings here? Do we prefer bone or bone in or bone out?
I mean, without the bone, there's really nothing to eat. I mean, there's no fucking meat on your finger. Come on.
It's gonna be kind of hard to eat a bone too.
I guess, but I mean, it's such a weird thing.
Get fucking stuck in your egg like eggshells.
Eight
that's
cases.
Fucking nasty, guy. That guy got some serious problems.
Yeah, well, he did say he was struggling with depression. So
I wonder if his favorite movie is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, there you go, man.
Because if he is, we know somebody very similar.
It makes sense because cannibalism, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You never know.
Yeah, maybe it's the person who just left us the voice.
He's from New Zealand, so maybe his favorite film is he obviously likes real gory shit, maybe like Dead Alive type of thing. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I had to read that one out. That's just fucked up. That was from the June 2011 issue. 8
reported cases. It's interesting.
So, I mean, this isn't 2011, so maybe there's 9 or 10 now. I'm sure it's not, the stat isn't going through the roof.
Is it worse to eat yourself or eat somebody else? Like, what would you consider, like, crazier?
I think
is it worse to, like, cut your own finger off and eat it? Or is it worse to, like, cut someone else's finger off?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways of looking at this, at it, though. I think if you're cutting up phalanges and eating them yourself, I think you're like really, really fucking disturbed. But I think if you're eating somebody else, I mean, frankly, you could just be really fucking hungry. You might not be suffering from depression and some other head cases and whatever fucking problems you got there. Who knows? You could just be really fucking hungry. But if you're eating yourself, man, I mean, I don't know, man. There's something
people
else going
starving
on
islands don't even try eating themselves.
Exactly. Like, you're fucked in the head, man.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked.
If you're eating somebody else, it's just like, dude, I fucking was hungry, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think eating yourself, you're just like, hey, dude, why did you eat your hand? You're like, man, I was fucking hungry. I was watching football and I got a little hungry and I had the hot plate next to me and shit. I don't think it works like that, man.
Yeah.
I think you're just crazy. So, yeah, that's fucked up. Alrighty, so that is going to do it for Moodz Swingz. Getting into the what we watch portion of the show. Who wants to go first? Jeremy?
Sure. So, first film I'll talk about today is an IFC Midnight film from 2014 from, I'm pretty sure it's from Spain, and it's called The Last Days. Now, this film is interesting. It's not the best film, to be completely honest. It's definitely not the best post-apocalyptic film, but it has an interesting premise. It's basically takes place in a futuristic world where something called, I think it's called the Fear or something like that, where people get a disease that they can't step outside. So everyone is forced to live inside buildings and things like that, and nobody could go outside. So we basically follow this guy and his co-worker as they try to find one of the main characters' girlfriend. So it's basically them like staying underground and finding ways to not go outside to try and hunt down this guy's girlfriend. And it's a buddy story, I guess, kind of. It's kind of boring, to be completely honest. You're kind of limited a little bit where you can't have things going on outside and everything's an interior set. There's definitely some messages in between the film about global warming and shit like that, which makes people not be able to go outside and things like that. I still haven't fully grasped my mind around what the filmmakers are trying to get at with this, but that's my guess now. But like I said, it's not the best post-apocalyptic film. It's interesting, people can't go outside. If they go outside, they have like these seizures type things. It's interesting at the best. It was a good attempt. Definitely not the best IFC midnight film out there. I give it a 6 out of 10.
And this film was called
The Last Days from 2014.
6 out of 10?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
I don't really know much about that one.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I don't even, for it being so recent, I thought I would have heard of it, or maybe I did, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a pretty unknown IFC Midnight.
Isn't that weird how they just do that? Like, they just sneak by. They just,
a lot.
Stuff and nobody knows.
Lot.
It's like, how do they keep doing that?
I don't know, because they pick them up for cheap. How the hell does it have a 4.5 stars on Amazon with 41 ratings?
That rating system is
that's
wrong.
Amazon's rating system's garbage.
Yeah, it's pretty much useless. So I guess Moodz,
I can go.
You go next?
I can go. First film I'm going to talk about tonight is from, I think originally came out in 2013.
Oh man, you're reviewing this?
It is came out in media in 2014, directed by Drew Rosis, I think is what his name is. He also directed Blood Junkie. This one's called Billy Club. Fantastic cover art, man, I gotta say. It's great stuff. Basically, what this one follows is about 15 years after there was like a devastating incident that happened. A couple kids and a coach got killed on this baseball team. It's about 15 years later, and some of the survivors, they get together and they're kind of mourning like the deaths of these, well, basically that that shitty event that happened 15 years prior. So they're kind of mourning the deaths of their fallen friends and coach and whatnot and stuff. And basically what starts to happen is this killer starts picking off people that were part of the team, and now this killer's after them for specific reasons. So basically the story is pretty basic. It's pretty basic, but the interesting thing about the film is the way it's told. You start to learn things. Like, the story comes at you pretty basic, which is very typical of slasher films. I mean, it is kind of hard to be really, really super original with slasher films, especially nowadays. Mm-hmm. But like I said, the interesting thing about this one is the way it unravels. You start to learn things about each of the characters, and there is some twists and turns and stuff. So it does actually keep you quite intrigued. I think there's a few moments in this film that are kind of slow and stuff that kind of take you out of it a little bit. But the thing about the slasher film is that it has all the right elements. It's got characters that you actually do like. It's got a fucking badass killer in it, man. I mean, really, if you've seen the cover art for this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a dude wearing like basically catcher's outfit, and he's got a spiked bat, and he's got this fucking knife out the top that he stabs
spiked bats are probably the most terrifying image like of all time.
Oh yeah.
But this one even takes it one step further though. It's a spiked bat, and he's actually got a knife that comes out the top of it too, kind of like, you know, like
it's ridiculous.
It's fucking badass, and
That's
he looks so badass.
Scary.
Yeah.
So that's what your killer looks like, and he fucks people up with this thing too. But like I said, there's some twists and turns, and I really don't want to give too much away. Obviously, I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but I have to say though, you know, slasher films are a dime a dozen. There's always slasher films coming out, and what separates this one from all the other kind of generic ones is just the way the story is told. It really does work, man. It kind of keeps you on edge a little bit, and the twists and turns, I think they do work. And you know, it's not like insanely over gory and stuff, but I think the kills are done very well. It's all practical, obviously, but you know, the elements that make a good slasher film, this one actually has. So it works. It's a really, really fun flick, and I think it has a lot of replay value too. I think it's one of those movies that you could definitely watch again right after and be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. You know, that makes sense. But very cool story. And the thing about this movie that really worked for me is that I'm a huge baseball fan. So yeah. I'm like, yeah, fucking badass catcher, fucking crazy ass bastard. This is awesome. And the ending is really, really unique, man. Really fucking unique, I have to say. To be honest, I've never seen an ending like this in a slasher film. So
interesting. That's
another cool thing about it. So yeah, Billy Club. I really highly recommend this one. I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy this film. It's not. It does run about 94 minutes. That's what it is. It's actually quite long.
Yeah, it's a bit long for a slasher.
Exactly. So it was a little longer, but I think maybe, like I said, there's a couple moments in the film you're like, oh, okay. But you know, overall, it doesn't really hurt it too much. It does keep you intrigued. Like I said, the way the story is told is awesome. But I give it about an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 for Billy Club. Yep. That's pretty cool.
Very fun film.
Yeah, I like that cover and the look of it. All right, so
trying to get him on the show. Trying.
Cool.
Well, so far, man, I mean, his films I've really enjoyed, so this should be a good conversation.
Yeah, Image actually recently, or who was it? It was somebody sent out a press release asking for people to, if they wanted to take part in interviews, but I didn't know the guy, so I was like, I'm not going to get that guy on the show. And I don't know his background. He did something with one of the Final Destinations, and then a couple films I've never heard of. But yeah, if we do like an interview, I want to at least know the person, like know about them, so I have stuff to say. But yeah, my film. The film that I watched this week, I didn't watch very many. I have my segment pick, and then I have this film, and then our main review, which this film is The Babadook from the year 2014. I caught this one. I rented it.
Nice.
So this film this film actually has been getting quite a lot of good reviews, eh?
Yep.
So this film follows a single mother who's plagued by the violent death of her husband. She has a very antisocial son. He's about 7 years old. He's definitely has issues. He is obsessed with the idea of this monster lurking in the house called the Babadook. This one is about her struggles dealing with her son, being a single parent who is very judged by the community and her friends, and a lot of people don't like her son, and that's a sad thing to deal with, right? Is people find your son weird, or a bad kid, or just not and they're kind of looking at you because you're the mother, right? That it's your fault. So she's very stressed out. Like her hair, I like what they did. They made her look stressed throughout the film with her hair and stuff like that. And then she starts to realize that there is some kind of sinister presence all around her. So right away, man, I gotta say the performances were top notch. At first, I was like, okay, is the kid overacting? But then it fit right, and it was like, man, this kid is annoying, but it's not in a way where it's from like bad acting or anything like that, and it's not in a way to where you hate the kid because he's annoying. He's annoying, and you feel bad because you know it's not his fault that he's annoying. That's just the from his trauma and his what's happening in his brain, and you know the type of person that he is. Like, you can tell that he's a very bothered child, and there's something seriously wrong with him, and you feel bad. But he's so bratty. He yells, but it comes off so well in terms of acting. And then you have the mother's struggles, who I thought were just really, really nailed how it must feel to have those sort of issues come up where you're being blamed for being a bad parent. And then you throw a wrench in the thing where now there's also things happening that she can't explain, and it's even getting her more confused, and people are looking at her even worse because she can't prove things, stuff like that. We've seen stuff like that before. Yeah. It takes a while to get going, this one. A lot of it is character development, well-developed stuff as well. But there's a point where the mother kind of turns on the son a little bit, and it really, like, hit hard for me. Like, I found it really sad and depressing, like how this mother was, like, taking out her anger on her son who didn't know any better. And that stuff really kind of affected me. It was weird, you know, like, it's something about a kid being, like, punished or, treated poorly because of something that isn't their fault, like, kind of just bugs me. So overall, I don't really know about the whole end scene. I almost felt like the film had something really good going, and I'm not quite sure that they knew what to do with it. So I still think it's a very, very strong film, but I was almost expecting it to kind of go a different way, and I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. So I still give it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely a strong watch. Maybe let the hype die down a little bit on this one, because I didn't know what kind of film this was when I went in. I was like, what is this film? Like, what is everybody talking about? And it's probably good to not know what it's about, I guess, so sorry for that. But yeah, 8 out of 10. Check it out. It's definitely a top 10 contender.
Yeah, I saw this months ago.
What a dick.
Oh, you saw this film?
I saw it months ago at the Chicago International Film Festival.
What did you rate it?
I didn't rate it. I didn't review it on the show.
What would you rate it?
I'll gotta wait till my year-end show.
Okay.
It'll be on there, don't worry.
So are you with me?
It's in my top 10.
I'm
with you. Yeah.
Okay.
I
was just trying to gauge like your vibe for the film. Okay.
No, I'll get into it. You're just gonna have to wait.
Suspense.
Q.
I didn't know you've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw it months ago.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, my next film is a film from 2014 released by Macabre, and that is Found. Now, this movie has had a lot of hype this year so far, especially in the underground community a little bit more than the mainstream film community. But now that Macabre has picked it up, more people are starting to see the film. Now, the film follows a young boy whose family is a little bit dysfunctional. The kid's a goody-goody two-shoe, and he does everything that people ask him to do. Your typical goody-goody two-shoe kid. But one day he goes into his brother's room, and he opens up his brother's closet, and in this bowling bag there is a decapitated head. And from that point forward, we learn that his brother's a serial killer, and he likes to murder people and decapitate them. So it's the story of this kid who continues to get picked on, things like that, and his brother, of course, handles the situations with the people who pick on his little brother and things like that. And one day, the little kid and his friend watched this movie called Skinless, and it's very influential to the way that his brother commits these murders. And
I think it's called Headless.
Headless?
Yeah.
It has the same cover as Skinless, doesn't it? The real Skinless movie that's out.
Maybe.
I swear it has a similar cover. That's why I was watching. I was like, I know where that cover is.
Well, the movie that they're watching in the movie, the special features on the new DVD, you can actually watch the full length short.
Yeah.
Of it. It's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, I know you can
It's
watch.
called Headless.
There's like another short on there too that you could watch.
Yeah.
But as the film goes on, the kid starts to realize that his brother may actually be right, and he starts to grow a dick and starts to grow a backbone and stand up to the people that are making fun of him. And the ending is quite interesting and it's a little bit fucked up. It's not too fucked up. It's an interesting ending. The main problem I had with this film was the acting. It's not very good. The older brother was alright, but the little kid and the mother and father was pretty fucking bad. They weren't very good. You could tell that they weren't very trained actors, which is okay. You know, I'm not bashing it. It's a low budget film. That's what you're probably going to have with most films that have a budget like this film did. But besides that, everything else was pretty good. The gore was really, really solid, especially during the scenes of the spoof film that they showed. But besides that, this was actually a really solid film that has come out this year. Really interesting and something that I haven't really seen.
It's a great horror film, fucking directed by a horror film fan.
Yeah. That's another thing. Good, thanks for reminding me, Moodz. There's like posters around the rooms of the brother and the little kid. There's awesome nods to independent horror films. Like there's like a Taint poster in the older brother's room, which I told Moodz that's fucking awesome. You know that guy's a independent horror fan because he has a Taint poster on his wall, and it was just awesome.
I think
love it? Oh, good.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think one of my favorite scenes in the film actually is when the boy goes, which you actually didn't mention, that the little boy or the younger brother, he's like a huge horror movie freak.
Yeah.
He loves horror films, and there's a scene where he actually goes to like a video store to rent VHS tapes, and you see all the covers and everything, and it's like
that's like such a cool part.
It is such a cool part because you get that nostalgic feel, and you're just like, oh fuck, I miss doing that, man. It's just, I love that he threw that in there because you can tell he's just an old school fan, right?
Yeah.
I'm a sucker
Posters,
for all that stuff. I'm a sucker for references.
Yeah,
and it really does work. It really does work because it adds to the character too, right? And he's just so excited about renting these movies, like you were. It had that feel, and he captured it quite well. So I really enjoyed that, man. It fucking worked.
Yeah.
Is this guy's first film?
Pretty sure. I'm not
sure.
I
always love when one of us makes it. Like one of the horror fans get out there and
well, if Fred Fogel recognizes your work, then it has to be pretty fucking good.
Fred Vogel's that from Toe Tag?
Yeah, Moodz bought this film at the Toe Tag table.
Well, shit, dude. I mean, this film's in Walmart's.
I know, but remember we were talking about like the independent release. Yeah, he bought that from the Toe Tag table. So, like I said, I didn't even give my rating. I gave this film a 7.5 out of 10.
He's done a couple other films previous to this one, but
they're like hour long and things.
Yeah, I think they're mostly shorts and stuff, but I think this is like his breakout film kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you gave it what, 7.5?
Yeah. Moodz, you don't agree with me?
No, JP, what did I give it?
Did you talk about it on here?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I actually don't know right off the top of the head, but I'll come back to you on that.
I actually can't remember now. I know it was higher than that, but yeah. So
I'll check it out.
All right. So next film here is from Black Fawn Distributions. This is their latest release. It's a Canadian film called The Door. This is a pretty interesting film. It basically follows your main character. His name is Owen. He's having a real shit time in life. He's having a real bad week, real bad day. He's walking down the street, and he actually sees this Asian guy getting mugged by these two fucking thugs. He kind of breaks it up and shit, and and so the Asian guy thanks him, and he goes, "Well, you know what, Owen? It's your lucky day." Owen mentions to him that he's having a real shit time, and he's unemployed and stuff, and the Asian guy goes, "Well, it's your lucky day. I actually have an opening at my job. Would you be interested in this job?" So, of course, Owen says, "Yeah, well, what does it entail?" And he basically tells him that it's $500 a night, and all you have to do is wear this security uniform, sit in this warehouse, and watch this door. And so, of course, Owen's asking all the right questions, which I did like in the film, because he asks every question that you would ask too, like, why the fuck am I staring at this door, right? And like, what's behind the door, and why can't I let anybody in? And that's basically what his job is. He's not allowed, or he's basically there to watch the door so the door doesn't open up from the inside.
So he's there to not let anybody out of the door. Yeah.
So that's what he's kind of assuming. He's like, so I'm keeping the door shut, but he's not allowed to open up the door for anybody else to get in either, and stuff. So basically his job is to sit there and just fucking stare at this door.
Dude, it's so funny how any film that starts out like this, I'm instantly like salivating. Like, this sounds awesome to me.
Yeah. So, and
it's so funny.
The thing I love about this movie, though, is the way it starts, because Owen's awesome, because he's totally asking every question that you're thinking. Like, when you're watching the film, you're going, you can basically say out loud what he's going to ask, and it really works, right? And you can just see it in his face too as he's acting. He's like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on here? He shows up to his job, and he starts watching this door and whatnot, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the other door, like the entrance door. So he answers the door, and there's a couple guys wearing the same outfits, and they've got a delivery. So he doesn't know what to do. So he basically phones up his boss, and he says, "Hey man, there's a couple guys here wearing these uniforms. They've got a delivery. They say they need to get it in, or put it through the door." And the guy's like, "Yeah, we can do that. Here's the key. Open it up." And they've got a minute tops. If they're in there longer than a minute, you cannot let them out anymore. So basically they wheel in this crate into this door, and of course they get out within that minute, and they disappear and stuff. So now he's back watching this fucking door, and he's going, what the fuck is going on, right? Meanwhile, his girlfriend is missing him, and they show up with she shows up with a bunch of their friends and stuff. They want to party with them, but of course he got this job that night and stuff. So they show up at this warehouse, which kind of goes all to hell. This is where the story kind of starts going. Basically what happens, they come into this warehouse, and there's like a lesbian couple, and then there's like a couple other couples and whatnot. Anyways, they start fucking around. He's talking to his girlfriend. Anyways, one of the lesbian girls actually finds the key and goes through the door and fucking disappears into this like corridor area. Of course, everybody has to go find them. They go in there, and then shit starts going fucking down. It's like this huge ass, like almost like abandoned warehouse, but they start seeing things, hearing things, and so I'll leave it right there. I can't go any further. This is a pretty interesting story, man. I gotta say, the cool thing about this film is that you really actually care about pretty much all the characters, with the exception of the lesbian characters. No discrimination, right there.
Man, 2 weeks in a row, it's blacks and now lesbians. Come on.
No, it's just because because they disappear so quick in this one that you don't really get to know them, so you don't really care about them too much. But as for the characters, you actually really do care about people and the way things are going down. And this one's a fucking mystery. It's basically a mystery. You don't really know what the hell's going on and whatnot and stuff. But I love the atmosphere. I thought it was really kind of well executed. Really good acting too. I thought the acting was actually pretty well done for a pretty low budget film. I mean, not like super low budget, but it's low budget. But overall, it's a very intriguing watch, and it's not too long. This one runs about 80 minutes, so it kind of gets right to the point. And the main problem I have with this movie, though, is, it's one of these films that's completely not spoon-fed, so therefore it leaves you with a bunch of questions, right? Which is not necessarily a horrible thing, but it's not a great thing either. It depends. Because sometimes you want to know certain things, In this case, I think it does work, but I think a little bit of explanation would have been, maybe needed, but I don't know. It just depends on how you watch it and how you see it. Yeah. So well, I think it's one of those deals.
I always, this is how I determine if it's a good reason, if it works or if it doesn't work. And that is, if there's a lot of questions and I feel like there is answers, but they just leave them blank, then it's okay. But if I feel like the director didn't know the answers himself, then I feel like it's a cop-out, because that's not a finished script. That's not a finished thought. And that's not a finished film.
Yeah, this one's interesting because, once they get into this this area, this corridor, obviously people start going missing and certain things start happening. I think this one has a really interesting story.
And Black Fawn has been releasing some pretty interesting shit.
Yeah, this one, not only the story is kind of interesting, but I think the ending is interesting too in this one. It you kind of not only scratch your head, but you go, I think that was actually pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those deals, right? So, I would actually like to watch this one again just to see how it would play out on a second watch and stuff. But I really enjoyed it, though. I thought it was intriguing. And like I said, it was perfect because it didn't run like a fucking 120 minutes or some bullshit,
Yeah.
Didn't overdo it with dialogue, and they didn't try to overdo shit and stuff. I know Derek watched this film, and he said he had a complaint about certain scenes where they would kind of repeat what just happened and stuff. But I think the reason why that happens in the film is because these characters are coming into contact with other characters, and they're so damn confused themselves on what just happened that they're trying to explain what just happened to them, and it just seems like it's kind of replaying itself. Yeah. But it's kind of one of those deals because it's a total mind fuck, right? So a lot of things have to be explained because these characters need to know too. So therefore, as the viewer, you're getting that also, like double time, but it actually does make sense though, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It totally does. There's several different ways you can handle those types of scenes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do recommend this film, man. Like I said, Black Fawn's doing a good job right now with their releases. They're picking up some pretty interesting flicks. So, The Door, I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
The Door gets a 7.5 out of 10. Oh, and you're Found? I can't find Found.
Oh yeah, I don't think you reviewed in Moodz.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I didn't. I can't remember. Shit. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so I only have my segment left, so if you guys have any more, you can spawn in.
I just have a pick of the week. That's it.
Yeah, I just got my segment one too.
And I should have saved that Last Days one for my AFCs. I'm fucking stupid.
So, Jeremy, do you want to do your segment?
Well, I just have a pick of the week.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that what my segment's called?
Is that your segment this week, a pick of the week?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, my pick of the week is a film that Moodz talked about like a month or so ago. That's the title, called Crawl or Die. Now, this film is really, 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 really interesting. For one thing, I think it's a fucking stupid title, and that's what may...
Stupid cover as well.
Yeah, which may steer people away from checking it out, which is...
It did me.
Which is unfortunate, because the film is really, really... a really, really intriguing film, and a really interesting...
the title does make sense to the film, though.
Yeah, but it's a fucking stupid title. That I think would be like, oh, this is a piece of shit, I'm not going to watch this. So, this film basically takes place on this planet called Earth 2, where they're trying to make another Earth, and there's one last female that could reproduce in the entire regular Earth. So this army squad,
they're like a special elite team.
Yeah, gets the task to deliver this package. They call it a package, which is just this last female to this planet Earth 2, so they could reproduce and populate this Earth. So they get to the Earth with the package, and shit starts to go down, and they're forced to go into this underground bunker. And while they're in this bunker, there's this creature that's moving around and things like that, and trying to kill them, pick them off one by one. So they are forced to move through these extremely close, narrow tubes and tunnels and really, really close camera work on this one. I still don't know how the director filmed this film. How the camera work is just absolutely fucking phenomenal. It really, really blew my mind how he shot this and was able to get the angles that he did in these tight, close corridors. Like, I wish there was some special features on the DVD about how they did the film, because I would have been extremely intrigued to figure out how they were able to. Cameras, of course, are a lot smaller than they were even 5 or 6 years ago. So that's understandable how they were able to get a camera in these close places and things like that. But how they were able to make it flow so smooth and not have shaky and, shitty camera work was just really, really, really intriguing. Like I said, the story it's not very original, but the way that it's shot is pretty fucking awesome. And it's definitely, as Moodz said, one of the most claustrophobic films that I've seen, especially during the end where
it's not only claustrophobic, it makes you so anxious too, because basically she this girl that is the last girl that can repopulate the earth, the one girl that goes in there to get her actually locates her, and now she's trying to get the fuck out with her. And there's a creature chasing them. There's like this this creature. It's kind of like say like a tremor type deal.
But the thing is you never see the creature very often. This movie is all based on sound design and acting. That's why I think it's such a effective film, because you don't need the effects. All you really need is an awesome sound design.
The sound design is fucking amazing.
It's so well done, and that's all you really need to make a awesome film. I mean, there is a creature at the end, and it's all practical and things like that, but it doesn't look very good. But it really doesn't matter, because all you really need is, like I said, an awesome sound design.
But the thing is, it's not even really about the creature. So when that happens, like what happens up until the point you see the creature is really what the film is.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
And like at the end, they're crawling through like this dirt-filled hole, and it's so fucking tight. Like literally, it's so like such a tight fit. And the actress was a fucking trooper for crawling in these things.
She's such a great job.
Yeah, she does a really fantastic job. But like I said, especially at the end, really, really blew my mind how they shot the film. And I'm curious. I know they said this is a trilogy. I know if you go on the website, it says Crawl or Die trilogy. So I don't know if he's planning to make some other films like this or what's going on. But I'm very curious to see where this guy goes, because his camera work was really, really well done. I think this film has a possibility to be something special later on in a few years, because it's definitely something that wasn't really seen before, and not many people aren't going to watch it, like I said, because of the title and the cover and things like that. But the film's awesome. 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, $5,000 budget, I believe, that they had for the film too, which is pretty crazy. So you gave it 8.5?
Yeah, Moodz gave it a 7.5 on episode 25.
7.5, really? Ooh, I gave that. I could probably go a little higher than that. That's interesting.
Yeah, sometimes my ratings change after I sit on it a little while.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Do you want to go?
Well, you went last time after Jeremy.
Okay, my Italian Stallion.
Neil Palmer, director of the X-rated films Hot Summer in the City, Erotic Adventures of Candy, Candy Goes to Hollywood, and coming soon, The Longest Foot, starring John Holmes.
Hi, I'm Gail Palmer. I've been hired by Stallion Releasing Company to supervise the editing of this new X-rated film, The Italian Stallion, with Sylvester Stallone in the starring role as Stud.
Every time I say Italian Stallion, it's going to make me laugh.
Did you hear the clip that I put in last week?
Yeah. Yeah.
Zach came up with an awesome song.
Yeah, that's like
I didn't
Italian Stallion
check that out. Maybe it's a better clip or something.
It's fucking funny.
Yeah.
So this movie right here is from 2014, and it's called Sonno Profondo. It's obviously Italian. It means deep sleep. This is a really fucking intriguing film. It is very short. It only runs about 65 minutes long, but very, very unique film. You don't see films like this made in today's world. It's pretty unique. Basically, it is about a guy that he murders this woman in the beginning of the film, and he's got some major issues. He's got he's super traumatized from like all the shit that's happened as a child. Like as an adult, he's obviously still suffering from all the shit that's happened to him and stuff like that. Anyways, after he kills this woman, basically what happens is he gets this letter slipped underneath his door, and he opens it up and whatnot, and it's actually pictures of him killing this woman. So now he's like, holy fuck, man. And so basically, he was the hunter. Now he becomes the hunted kind of deal. Now this movie is a straight up giallo. It's shot basically all POV. The interesting thing about this movie is that there's maybe 5 lines or maybe 10 lines of dialogue in the whole film. It's very intriguing. This movie looks like it was shot in 1977. I don't know how in the fuck they managed to do this because it looks so authentic. It looks like, really washed out, like that old washed out look. And it just looks so fantastic. This movie basically is all driven by cinematography and sound design. The score really drives it, and it's, it gets you anxious. It changes your moods, through the score and stuff. But the cinematography basically tells the story, right? Because there's very, very minimal dialogue in this. A couple of conversations on the phone and stuff like that. But it's so effective. It's so intriguing to watch because you just don't see any films like this. I didn't really know going into it that it wasn't going to have dialogue. So when I was watching, I'm like, what the fuck? It's pretty interesting. Score is fantastic. Like I said, cinematography is amazing, but it has, that throwback look that is actually one of the most authentic looking throwback films I've ever seen in my life. It's like they actually grabbed film from the 70s and filmed this. Which was just awesome. And like I said, it is a giallo. Obviously, it's a POV, the killer with the gloves, and it's very, very
Switchblade.
Yeah, it's so giallo. It's just fantastic. I really enjoyed this film because you didn't really know what to expect with it. There's a fantastic kill in this film that is leading up to cinematography and the score, and then it just I love this scene, man. The score, everything cuts out, and then you actually hear the sound effects of like the stabbing and stuff. I think that was so fucking well executed in this film. Oh man, I was just like, damn, that was really cool. But if you're a fan of Italian films, giallos, and I guess almost silent films, really, this one's definitely for you. This is probably one of the better films of the year I've actually seen. Not just because it's so unique, but it's just really good. Really good cinematography. Loved the look of this film. It was fantastic. This one was released by Brink Vision. Don't really know much about them.
Yeah.
But like I said, it has all the elements of a traditional giallo. So if you're a fan, I can't help but recommend this film. It's really, really good. Rating on this one, I don't even know what I'd give it. It's actually kind of difficult to rate, but I'd probably give it a solid 8 out of 10. There's not really a whole lot I can say about this one because it's like I said, it's a giallo. So, reviewing giallos is difficult, but the elements though, man, holy fuck. This thing is beautiful.
What was the title?
It's called Sonno Profondo.
Oh my God. You're going to have to send me that after the show so I can put it on the page.
Yeah, I will. But oh my God, this one, it's pretty fucking interesting. I definitely highly recommend this one. It's awesome stuff.
Awesome. You said 8 out of 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so that just leaves me, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to debut my segment that I'm going to hold on to for a couple weeks probably tonight, and that is it's going to be called Horror 101.
All right, everybody, settle down. Would you sit down, please? Teacher. You mean they're not in this class?
No.
Are you in this class?
No.
You want to get out then, please? No.
And this is going to be focusing on documentaries either about horror films or about something horrific, kind of learning. It's, learning, they're informative. So that's why I went with Horror 101. I couldn't really think of anything like Moodz. So, we're just going to be going down week by week, and I'll bring some sort of a documentary based on, horror cinema or, something similar to that. This week, I decided to kick it off with probably the first documentary I remember seeing about horror films, and that is Going to Pieces, The Rise and Fall of a Slasher Film.
Yep.
From the year 2006. This one basically goes through the history of the start of slasher films into the 90s, where they kind of eventually fell off, and now they're not dead per se, but they're definitely not as creative and on top of the genre as they once was. You have a lot of cool interviews in this one with a lot of different people. One person who I found very interesting when they talked was Amy Jones, who of course directed the Slumber Party Massacre film. Yep. And she's kind of a feminist or whatever, and I found that she really was making a lot of sense with the stuff that she was saying. And,
Slumber Party Massacre is not a feminist film.
And there was
actually all three of those films were directed by women too.
Yeah.
Were they?
She wanted it to be a feminist film, but it just went downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, that whole trilogy was directed by women.
And, there's Stan Winston and Tom Savini. I found Tom Savini to come off a lot of, Tom Savini comes
like he is
off
in real life.
Dickish, man. He just does. And I know he's said that that's just how he's perceived, and he's not really like that and stuff, but...
I guess we'll find out in April if he's a dick or not.
Yeah, I guess he'll be there, right?
Well, Tom Savini stayed at our hotel one time before I worked there, and he didn't leave a tip, so...
That is dickish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but Tom Savini, obviously a godfather when it comes to special effects. You got Greg Nicotero in there, Rob Zombie. I found that this one was filmed, when I first seen this, I thought it was amazing. Not so much anymore. It's still very, very solid, but I think because it was the first time I ever seen people talking about horror films and, them being made and stuff, I was really, really impressed. 2006 or whatever. That was quite a while ago. I hadn't seen a documentary before that on horror films.
And maybe one of the more mainstream ones.
Yeah, but watching it now, they really don't touch on a lot of the slasher genre. They kind of it's a brief history of it. They start with the big ones like Halloween and Friday the 13th. And then they talk about the slew of films to come out afterwards. They talk briefly about Canada's involvement in, the taxes and stuff, how the films were easy to make it during the 80s up in Canada and stuff. But they didn't go into it like I thought I remembered them doing. One thing that when a lot of the interviews, I found it really annoying that it seemed like the director or whoever had an idea where he wanted to capture people's interviews when they're walking forward and the camera's moving backward, but it seems like they overused it and it feels really awkward. It feels like they shouldn't be walking that long and stuff like that. It feels like they just are, all right, now reset, go back to the beginning, continue the story. But I love the idea of this, and I would love to see a follow-up to this and focus more heavily on the slashers that were kind of not the big hitters of that time, because there were so many. And sometimes during this you'll see them just flash images of different slashers and stuff, just the cover arts, and I really, really like that. I love slashers, and to see just to see the story of slashers was really cool, but I feel like it could be done better. I feel like there's a lot more to say about the history of the genre, and especially now with the types of slashers that we get now, it's definitely a new era. But yeah, overall, still a very solid, fun watch. I like when they kind of focused on the political and the Silent Night, Deadly Night stuff where people were just outraged of slashers, especially like holiday slashers like Silent Night, Deadly Night. They had Siskel and Ebert clips on there that are just so laughable, man. Those guys hated these things.
Oh my god! I posted that actually on the group page not too long ago because every time I watch that clip, it just kills me that he starts fucking calling out people.
It's like one of the best reviews I've ever read in my life.
Because
like Siskel starts calling out people by name.
Listen, because they don't only say like these films are bad and the filmmakers are bad, but they actually start criticizing the people that watch these films, and that's when I think that you are going overboard there, because he's basically insulting anybody.
Oh, they didn't even step over the line; they fucking jumped fucking 20 feet past it.
Yeah, and they were.
Can't deny what Ebert did, though, man.
What?
Ebert was the man.
Overrated.
Because he was an asshole?
I mean, obviously he was amazing at what he did, right? But the guy was very... Well, he was very biased.
He was so super close-minded when it came to horror films.
Yeah, he was very biased with his personal beliefs, and he let that... I mean, but I guess you have to be... I don't know, man. I just feel like... when he took the stance against horror films, he was almost afraid to like reverse that because he didn't want to be perceived as going back on what he originally said. When really, when it comes down to it and you find out that you was wrong, it's always better to admit it and go the other way instead of just sticking to your guns, because sticking to your guns isn't necessarily the right thing to do when it comes to actually after you've like realized you was wrong. And but this documentary, a lot of fun. I mean, it's cool to see the clips and people talking about it. Like I said, I wish it would have went even more in depth. But overall, I give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it's probably what I give it to. I find it pretty entertaining. I haven't watched it in a while. I didn't actually even see Going to Pieces until last year. I think it was the first time I watched that one. Mm-hmm. It was pretty weird because I remember you even saying, JP, to me, you're like, "What? You have never seen that before?" I'm like, "Yeah." Because it was one that I knew about forever. I just never got around to checking it out. And
because for a long time, that one was considered to be one of the better horror documentaries ever made, because this was before Elm Street Legacy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing touches that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, mine too.
I love that documentary. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
so let me know if you guys like this segment, if you want me to continue doing a documentary every week, or what's up.
Yeah, same with my Italian Stallion. Give me some feedback if you guys want to hear about more Italian films.
Guess I could do IFCs starting next week. I had one this week. I fucking forgot.
I mean, it just gives me a reason just to watch tons of Italian films. So
that's why I'm doing it.
I mean, it's not like I need a reason to, but it's fun to talk about.
What are you munching on, JP?
So
I'm so hungry.
Me too. But I'm not fucking eating. I gotta go soon.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get into. You guys don't have any quick cuts, do you?
Nope.
All right. Nope. Well, I got a couple here. I'll make them real quick. I watched this one actually at work last night. I'd never seen it before. I was fucking obviously bored on Netflix, so I watched The Hole from 2009. This was directed by...
This is the PG-13 one.
Is it Joe Dante? Yeah, Joe Dante did this one. Yeah, it is a PG-13 film, which I understand why it was rated PG. I think the only reason is just because of the language that was in the film. There was a little bit of swearing, so I think they gave it a PG-13. This one is kind of similar to, The Gate in a way, but not really.
I love The Gate.
I mean, it has a, kind of similar...
Which was also PG, I think, right?
Yeah. Basically, it's about this family that moves out to the country, and they find this hole in their basement, and they don't know what there's an older brother and a younger brother. They find this hole in the basement, and some crazy shit starts happening. It's actually pretty intriguing, man. I kind of liked how the hole was playing off their fears and stuff like that. So their personal fears is what would eventually happen to them out in the real world and stuff like that. I thought it was actually pretty cool. It was entertaining as fuck, man. you know, I know when people think of PG-13 films, they get kind of freaked out. I know Jeremy fucking always stresses how much he doesn't like
garbage for kids under 13.
But this one right here was actually really well executed. It felt like, you know,
well, it's Joe Dante too. He's known for making these good, the PG-13s.
Yeah. I mean, I really recommend this film. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. Like,
hey,
you know,
not all PG-13 films are shitty, JP, you asshole. Just most of them.
I know. I'm always the one that defended a couple, right?
I had heard some mixed opinions on this one, and you know that's probably pretty normal with a film like this. But I thought it felt really good. Like this one has a lot to offer for adults and you know younger kids and stuff. So I think it has that, you know, it manages to capture, you know, a lot of different age groups. So really entertaining, 8 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic.
Wow.
I loved the whole fear thing. I thought it was great. Especially with the jester, the clown. Oh my God. Fuck. The way they did the effects with this little jester, it was creepy as fuck. And this little girl in this film, creepy as fuck. Seriously, I understand I was at this airport all by myself last night, and I'm watching this shit in the dark, and I'm like, okay, getting a little creeped out, but it was good, man. I enjoyed it. Next up, I watched a film called IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndrome. Basically, it is about a guy with IBS, and the only way that he can cure his IBS, or he figures out how to cure his IBS. After he's tried every fucking medical thing in the book. He's been to every doctor. Nothing works. He has an accident with a coworker one time and he accidentally kills him and he notices that his IBS is gone. So then he goes on a killing spree to cure his IBS and that
sounds effing ridiculous.
Yeah, sounds stupid.
There is so many funny ass scenes with this guy shitting on the toilet. Like I was literally fucking laughing out loud watching this film, man. The premise is fucking retarded. Yeah. It's by the same director that did Sloppy the Psychotic.
Oh, nice.
So it has a very similar tone, and it's not like honestly, it's not like super goofy. With the kills and stuff are actually pretty vicious and shit, but like there's a lot of scenes where he's sitting on the toilet shitting.
That has to be probably one of the worst covers I've ever seen in my life. It looks like a fucking like Microsoft Paint.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
That's terrible.
But you know, overall, I mean, I had fun with it. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. It was actually pretty entertaining. The sound effects for him shitting just sounded so fucking real. It was gross. It was awesome. Next up, I watched a film called The Experiment.
What was the rating on that?
6.5. Next up, I watched a film called The Experiment. This one was from 2012. It's basically about a girl that is really down on her luck, needs money. She's a stripper or whatever, needs fucking money. So she takes this job at this house or whatever, doing experimental drugs, and a whole pile of crazy shit happens and stuff. It was absolutely horrendous. It was so fucking bad. Like, this movie didn't go anywhere. Basically, you know, her taking the drugs was just a reason to, like, you know, do trippy camera shit and stuff. It was fucking ridiculously bad. I fucking hated this movie. 1.5 out of 10. It was just so bad.
Oh, that's bloody Homecoming level.
I hate this. I could not. And it was short too, man. I think this movie was like 65-70 minutes, and I must have looked at the time like 9 times. It was so bad. Like these pointless stripping. Oh fuck, it was bad, man. It was stupid. And then last up here, I watched a film called Dead Time Stories. This is the one from 1986.
Oh my god, I thought you was gonna say the
George
Romero one, because I've been telling you to watch that for years.
I know, and I still haven't gotten around to it. But anyways, I picked up Dead Time Stories from 1986. It's of course an anthology film, and this one basically plays on little kid stories. The first one, and they're really cool variations too. The first one is Peter and the Witches. Probably my least liked one out of the stories. It's got a pretty interesting story. If you guys know the stories behind these, you know what I'm kind of getting at. But Peter and the Witches, pretty creepy characters and shit, not too bad. The next one was Little Red Riding Hood. So the way they did these stories in here, very actually kind of cool, man. They kind of set them up like a lot different. Like these are definitely not kid stories at all. With Little Red Riding Hood, basically about this girl that goes out to get her grandma's medicine, and she ends up getting this dude's drugs, and shit, and this guy's like a fucking werewolf and stuff, and chases her down and shit. It's actually pretty fucking entertaining. I like the way they kind of twisted the story a little bit. And then the third one is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This one was actually the best out of the three stories. Goldilocks is basically a mass murderer, and she's been killing people and hiding these bodies in this house. The Three Bears are a family called the Bears, and they just escaped from this mental asylum. And anyways, they found their way back to their house, and of course Goldilocks is at their house with all these dead bodies, and then they kind of get together and do their thing. So
that's awesome.
I thought that was a really, really fucking awesome short. This anthology series was all directed by the same guy, but very cool that he took these children's stories and kind of twisted them into their own little twisted ways. Little
Is
Red
this a pretty
Riding Hood
shitty
stories.
release?
No, this is released by Image. Yeah, this is. I believe this is actually out of print too. This Dead Time Stories release. Yeah, it's pretty fucking fun, actually, to be honest. I give it about a 7 out of 10. They kind of progressively get better. I said Peter and the Witches was decent. Little Red Riding Hood was a little better, but the third one, Goldilocks and Three Bears, was the best story. I had a lot of fun with it, so I guess I have to have an anthology in every fucking week that I do. So, and that is it for Quick Cuts.
Sort of.
Awesome.
Well, it's kind of hard to, talk about an anthology film without bringing up all the shorts.
Yeah.
So, all right. So getting into the featured review, this is courtesy of Scream Factory. This is a film that came out originally in 1985, starring the two-time James Bond, Timothy Dalton. This one's got lots of familiar faces in it. Of course, you got Julian Sands from, of course, The Warlock. Well, 2 films anyways.
Not
who
the
else is
House
in this
of Pain
one?
one.
Not the House
Halls
of Pain
of
one.
Pains, Halls of Pain.
And of course we got Patrick Stewart in this film too. The film is called Doctor and the Devils.
I think we're being supplied with the victims of murder.
We are anatomists, not policemen. We're scientists, not moralists. I need bodies. They brought bodies. I pay for what I need. I do not hire murderers.
In a time when men of science...
Do you realize the progress that could be made in medicine if we were to be given free access?
To what?
Bodies.
...worked hand in hand with men of evil.
There's work to be done. Money to be made.
A doctor's desire for the truth became an obsession.
This is the best material I've had in years.
And a criminal's greed became something much deadlier.
Just have your money ready and your mouth shut. This one's fresh. Too fresh. I'm frightened, Thomas.
Open up, for God's sake! They need assistance.
Let me go. I won't say nothing else. Swear it.
Fallon and Broom provide that assistance.
They will call you murderer and butcher.
The man must be stopped.
You're a rotten, lying murderer.
Fresh bodies, fresh bodies.
What you love is the feeling when you're stopping her life.
The Doctor and the Devils.
This is basically another version of the Burke and Hare story. If you guys are not familiar with that story, we'll get into the plot of it, and it might refresh your memory. Someone want to give the plot?
Sure. We have a doctor set in... What year is this set in? Probably 18-something?
It's like early 20th century, I think.
Yeah. 1820s. 1820s. We have a anatomist who is in need of bodies. He is in need of fresh ones. So he hires some grave robbers to bring him bodies, and then there are 2 kind of even worse people out there than grave robbers, and they steal the grave robbers' bodies, and then they decide, well, these aren't fresh enough, so let's start creating our own dead bodies that'll be fresher because that pays the most. They start taking them to this doctor. Meanwhile, we have a doctor's assistant who is falling for one of the horrors of the town, and that's kind of your story right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Timothy Dalton plays the professor. What is his name? Thomas Rock.
Yes,
Thomas Rock. He is the anatomy professor. And I think at first, when they start bringing in the bodies, would you say that he was fully aware where these bodies were coming
Not
from.
at first. He was aware that they were being stolen, obviously, the grave robbered ones. But when they started becoming murder victims, he wasn't aware. Then he quickly became aware, but he was in denial because he didn't want to. He was a strong believer in science overall. That's
Medical
what
science.
matters. He is a scientist, and his craft is important for all of mankind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is early science here where they're still learning a lot
So sacrificing, human life was no.
Yeah, and then
wasn't a problem for him.
No big deal.
Yeah, we have Broom and what was the other one's name? Fallon?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the two sort of murderers. And first of all, I want to say that, like, I felt like there was 100% chance that these could have turned into, like, bumbling type of crooks, and I'm so glad that they didn't.
How so?
How do I feel like they could have?
Yeah.
Because they're sloppy, they're drunks, they're, like, I could just see, like, a disaster for comedy right there. And they steered clear away from it. This is a straight serious film. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, this one is definitely very straight-faced. I have another version of this story called Burke and Hare. It's from the 70s, and it's totally a comedic version of it. I know for a fact that you would hate that movie, JP. It's just way too comical. But, comparing the two films, I actually like them both. I like the comical approach to it. It's not like, retardedly over the top. But this one, it works well, too, with being serious because of what they're doing. It does make sense to be.
Well, I definitely see that there's a comedy, there's room for a comedy version of this story because, like I said, I could feel how all of these situations can be played for a comedic tone, especially the drunken whores of the town and stuff. Like, I can totally see it being played for comedy.
They do it so well in this film, though, because without, it's very straight faced, but without making it comical. Like the scene where they're gonna go bring I think it's towards the end, the old lady. Well, the woman that they chopped the finger off.
That was sad.
Well, anyways, that scene right there. So they put her in this basket. And then the one guy realizes, he's like, man, we can't fucking sell this body. You left marks on the neck.
Dude,
right?
listen.
So they stuff the body back in the basket. And when they're running away, it almost could be taken as comical, but it's totally not.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many instances in this film where you can rewrite this script and change literally like one or two words of dialogue, and the whole film would be a comedy. That's
I never
why
thought about it like
it
that.
almost feels like it started as a comedy, and on rewrite they changed it to a serious film.
Yeah,
Roger
it
Ebert
also
gave this 1 star.
It also could be to where this type of living, this area, time period, and this in Scotland. It's so foreign to us that it comes off comedic. That could be it too. But I'm very intrigued by just the foreign time period. Like, I love timepieces, and I'm just interested in their lingo. I'm interested in their money, like their living conditions, their habits. Like, I like that type of stuff. So I really was interested in this one the whole way through.
I think one thing about this film that really works is that everyone's performances are outstanding. I think Timothy Dalton's great in this film.
Is this
Patrick Stewart's great. Julian Sands, Jonathan Pryce, Stephen Ray. Like, everyone does a great job in this film. Everyone's believable.
Is this the first DVD release of this?
No, it's been out.
In Region 1?
Moodz, hasn't it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
I don't think this had a previous release here.
Oh, wow.
I know it had a VHS release, but I didn't know it had.
Yeah, I don't think it was released on DVD or Blu-ray. I think this is the first release for it.
Did you like this one, Jeremy?
Yeah, it's alright. You know my opinion on period pieces. I've said that when we did Warlock. They're not really my thing. But yeah, it was okay.
What'd you like?
Well, like, I thought the screenplay was actually pretty solid, to be completely honest. Like you said, I never thought of the film as I was watching it, and when you were saying, like, you could change one line of dialogue, and it would come off as a comedian film, a funny film. Like, it's pretty. I have to rewatch it again and think about that because I think that's a pretty interesting point. Would you like to see this as a comedian film, JP, or rather see it as a serious?
I could handle it because I feel like this type of material definitely can suit for that. But I'm just glad in this version that they didn't, because like this is a dark story and I feel like a version deserves to be made in a dark form. Mm-hmm. But I would be okay with it. I think that it could work actually and be pretty funny because it's like almost like a satire of the time. What did you think of the two villains, like the main villains?
I don't know. I think what you said with the way that they're portrayed as scummy people, like I kind of thought of them like from Moodz, the villains from the Phantom's Carriage, when they're drinking in the graveyard, like those kind of dirty ass guys. But yeah, they were okay.
I really liked the banter back and forth between the two, especially when their relationship kind of explodes or implodes, whatever one it would be.
Mm-hmm. I like that. What do you think of the soundtrack?
Moodz?
Yeah, the score was decent.
Yeah, I thought it was decent as well.
The score is decent. I think one of the strongest elements, a couple of strong things from this film is the sets look fucking fantastic in this film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because some are actual like on set, set. Like some of the graveyard stuff is definitely a set.
I guess this did have a Region 1 release.
Oh, did it? Yeah, I love the look of the film, and I think the costumes and stuff are really fantastic too.
That atmosphere of like the dirty, like even the costumes, like they're worn, like it looks like a legitimate worn, like they're just gross, dude. Like everybody's gross in this film. Like even the people that are supposed to be like the pretty people are also gross.
Yeah, totally, completely agree with that right there. I really like the scene where. The fucking the old lady again, coming back to the old lady again. When you see her body going into the sewers, I like the way that scene is. Like that could be played off as being very comedic too, because you got like that bum standing there watching the fucking thing.
Yeah, if you just change the music slightly, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That scene just kind of it intrigued me a little bit. I don't know, man. When I think of like period pieces from like the 1820s and stuff, I don't think of like underground sewers and shit. I don't know. It just it seemed odd to me. But I mean, they obviously had them. It just I don't know. I guess it's just me being ignorant. But
wasn't Jeannie Moodz in Body Bags also? The actress who played Jeannie,
Twiggy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I swore she was in Body Bags.
I don't know, actually. I'm not sure.
It's a story of greed. It's a story of science versus, like it's like the Frankenstein theory and stuff.
Yeah, I really liked where, how this film is, everyone has like their own agendas with the, the murders of the grave robbers, whatever you want to call them. Mm-hmm. I just love the fact that like, they're just ultra greedy. They start overdoing it big time. But then on the flip side, you got, Timothy Dalton's character, Thomas Rock, he's got an agenda too that's like completely, you can almost justify it because, there's a purpose for what he's, allowing to happen.
But he's still a monster though, at the same time. Monster.
Mm-hmm. But that's exactly my point. I'm getting conflict. That. You basically have these two different worlds of monsters. Mm-hmm. You have one that's actually looked at upon in society as, a very upper class and everyone looks up to this person kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, you have these murderers that are doing basically the exact same thing.
Yeah. And you can you can actually really go into it. And there is a debate there for, well, who's the biggest monster? Because you're taking advantage of people who are poor and alcoholics, and you're offering them a lot of money to do this stuff. So, it's like, well, you can't really blame them at all.
The argument could be that, Thomas Rock is the most villainous monster in the film because, without him, you might not even have created these other monsters.
Yeah. Definitely.
Right? Because these guys were scummy. They were scummy and alcoholic, but it doesn't mean that they were fucking murderers and, shitbags like that.
Mm-hmm.
They had an opportunity that Thomas Rock brought to them and they took it.
Yeah, but
so
then
he essentially created these monsters, which is an interesting way of looking at this.
But then also there's the dynamic of the two friends and how they're different types of monsters, because the one friend is clearly there simply to get paid, while the other friend, you're not so sure after a while what he's in it for. And I loved that dynamic when they brought that in.
Because he pretty much says, like, he doesn't care about anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a line in the film where he even says, like, I'm not scared of anything. I don't care about anything, or whatever he says. So it kind of sums up his character, basically with one line of dialogue in the film. He just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, but then there's that other moment when the two split apart because of the way that the person wants to keep. That's kind of spoiler territory. I'll just drop that one. But
I knew you were going with that.
Yeah, there's so much subplot going on here. You have this stuff with Dr. Thomas Rock and his wife and his sister. Then you have the Warlock's character who's in love with the what's her face, the Twiggy girl, Jeannie. And then you have the full brother and the sister who's like his leg gets destroyed and stuff. And that came full circle towards the end as well, which I really liked. I thought that was a nice reveal, and it really kind of showed emotion from the character to like being, it's like you ignore what you're doing, but here it's shoved right in your face and you have to look at it now. I love that scene.
What do you guys think of the transfer?
It's not like amazing.
Yeah, I think it's okay for what it is for like a
Moodz.
Nah, I thought it was decent. I thought there was moments in the film that looked pretty good, especially like,
but the interiors looked all right.
It was more like, the buildings and like the outside shots and stuff. I thought some of the inside shots looked very, very like kind of low quality DVD. You know what I'm saying? Like you could tell the quality difference in some of the shots, but overall the transfer is kind of mediocre. I didn't think it was great.
Yeah, normally when I pop in at Scream Factory, I know like I'm usually like really impressed right away, and I wasn't with this one, but I mean I really thought this was a great pickup for them. I really did enjoy this film a lot, and you know what was interesting? It's a Fox film.
Yeah, I know it's a 20th Century Fox movie, which is interesting.
Yeah, they've released Fox in the past. It wasn't the Funhouse Fox.
Terror Train was Fox too.
Yeah. So they've messed with Fox a little bit. I don't know what the extent of that deal is, but just some more Fox ones.
They haven't done anything Fox in a while though. Between this and
now I remember. Okay, so going into this film, this is the first time I've ever actually seen this. The version of this film, and. So I was looking at the case before I popped in, and I noticed on the back it said executive producer Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I popped it in, assuming this film was going to be comical.
Ooh.
Because of the other edition that I have the Burke and Hare, which is the comical version of this story. So I see Mel Brooks' name, and I was like, well, this is obviously going to be comical. And you can tell right away that this one is not going to be a comedy. I thought that was so intriguing.
I love the cover, too.
So it fucking threw me off. Like, I do like the quote on the back by the Hollywood Reporter, a gothic thriller. It does have that kind of gothic feel too, doesn't it?
It's the buildings and the alleyways and how it's everything's not like straight and symmetrical. Everything's cluttered. Like I like that look. I like that era, that just style and look. I like the way they talk, and it's just
those brick roads and the brick buildings, and just it adds so much to it, man. And I don't even think like the cinematography in this film is like overly that great. There's some really good shots in the end of the film and stuff, but like just the set pieces and the costumes and stuff makes up for it all.
I want to read you the
but there definitely could have been like more fog and stuff like that to really set up like the graveyard atmospheres and stuff, but I was okay with it. I mean, I don't think that was they technically overly achieved in those areas, but I think the story is probably the strongest part of this. I like all the script with all the subplots, everything coming together. I really just like the characters, not like them as like they're good characters, like nice people and stuff, but like they were they were well done. They were despicable, some of them, and it came off real. I guess I don't know if realistic's the word, but it came off very believable.
Yeah,
believable is the word.
I want to read you the opening to Roger Ebert's 1-star review of this film. So, it says, "It is impossible to discover on the evidence of the Doctor and the Devils why anybody connected with this movie thought it should be made. It is unredeemed, dreary, boring, gloomy dreck unilluminated by even the slightest fugitive moment of inspiration or ambition. It is utterly depressing movie, not just because of its subject matter, but because neither tragedy nor humor are allowed to distract from its dogged progress from one dead scene to another."
Listen,
they played it too straight-faced for Mr. Ebert
Listen,
there.
Why does everything have to be happy? Why can't stuff be dark, dreary, depressing?
I know.
Bleak, like that's what I don't.
You have to have a counterbalance here, man.
Yeah,
if things are fucking funny on one side of the spectrum, you need fucking movies like this to even it out.
That I hate when people say like,
right?
That like it would like there. I never understood the concept of it can't be totally bleak the whole time. Like, why not?
Yeah, like why does there have to be a little bit of comedy to kind of like offset the whole dark tone of a film?
Yeah, why is that a staple? It fits in certain films, but
of course
it doesn't have to be in every film.
That's exactly what my point is. I'm like, why does it have to be?
Those are the type of reviews that like make me like just infuriated with Ebert. Like people tend to ignore those reviews and only focus on the ones where he says some like genius type shit. And it's like, well, he said a lot of stupid shit a couple minutes ago, so so don't forget about those. Do you agree with what he said there, Jeremy?
Not at all. The movie's not boring. I don't like. He doesn't like anything that's horror. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
But he didn't say anything about like shitty performances or anything, so maybe he actually enjoyed the performances.
He gave it 1 star, dude.
Yeah, 1 star.
Yeah, he could have enjoyed the performances, but 1 star.
Yeah,
Dr. Rock.
That's a little.
Dr. Rock comes across as a constipated prig. His assistant Julia Sands comes across as Horano Elgar, and the murderers are grisly caricatures scurrying around the streets with fresh corpse slung over their shoulders. The only ray of sunshine comes from Twiggy as a tart. She looks great now that she puts on some weight. The Doctor and the Devil takes a drab middle road as a sort of docudrama about necrophilia as the disease of the week.
Get the fuck out of here, Ebert. Listen, guy.
Wow.
I hate when someone uses this as a negative. They'll say like the Dr. Rock was a prick or like a bad person. It's like, so what? How is that a negative? That is a story. He is the bad person in the story. If every single character is a mean person, that's not a negative. That's just the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that cracks me up, man.
We should just do one episode one time of just Roger Ebert.
We just read Roger Ebert's reviews and then critique his reviews.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a fun show.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about the film. Without giving anything away.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say? Like any?
I mean, to me it just works.
Critiques?
It works on pretty much every level. It's not very ambitious. It's pretty simple. It tells the story, but I feel like where it kind of goes maybe ahead of what you would expect is when it ties in so many different subplots, and I think it's you think about what actually happens in the movie, how many on-screen murders there are and stuff like that. There's not that many, so the film keeps moving. It's a 95-minute film or whatever. It keeps moving relatively good because it's just there's so much happening there's not much happening at the same time. There's not like visually things happening. It's a lot of dialogue. There's people talking. There's subplots happening, and that's actually what propels your story the whole time. And I found all of them to be kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, without that, the killings wouldn't have as much oomph to them.
Yeah. Jeremy, you have anything to add on this one? Didn't really say a whole lot.
No. Right, ratings.
Sure, you go first.
Okay. 8 out of 10.
Moodz?
Yeah, I don't... I'm kind of torn on this one right here. I have it written down, but, talking about it, I really do enjoy this film. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
I'm not like overly gonna freak out and give it like this crazy high rating, but it's a really, really solid film. I do recommend it. Great performances, and I've always thought that Timothy Dalton's kind of an underrated. He kind of gets a bad rap because he was like, everyone kind of labels him as that shitty Bond, but he wasn't. I like the films that he did, but yeah, whatever. 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, me. I wasn't really knowing what I was gonna like or dislike. I didn't know anything about it, and I thought the cover looked kind of like you couldn't really predict what the film was going to be about from the cover, so I didn't really. But now after you've seen the film and you look at the cover, it fits. So I didn't really know how I was going to feel about it, but I ended up being very surprised with this one because I really, really did enjoy it. I was super interested in like just the setting and the characters the whole way through. It's a 8 out of 10. Go with an 8.
Cool. Right arm. All right, so that is going to do it for the main or the featured review, Doctor and the Devils. And that is also going to conclude the 35th episode of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Like I said off the top of the show, sorry if I sounded a little drizzled and a little beaten down. Been up for a fucking long time, so please forgive me and my ignorance in the show a little bit. But yeah, anyways, I'll leave you guys to Jeremy.
All right. So thank you everybody for listening to the 35th episode of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. As always, you can follow the man Moodz himself at his channel at youtube.com/Moodz616. Or if you're watching the video on Moodz channel, please click the subscribe button down below. As always, you can follow JP over at his channel at youtube.com/doubleshotj. And as always, you can follow me on my channel at youtube.com/NESRuler22. If you have any questions, you can email us the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror at gmail.com. That's 22 Shots of Moods and Horror at gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at 22 Shots Podcast. And as always, you can follow us on the Facebook page. If you have any questions, you can leave us a voicemail at 724-426-6665. Please leave the phone calls under 3 minutes unless you have more, and then please call back. But as always, we shall talk to you guys next week with the 36th episode of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast, where we will be reviewing the Silent Night, Deadly Night series in its entirety. So that shall be it. So we'll talk to you guys next week with another episode of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. Talk to you guys then.
Thank you for listening.
Peace.